sports fans, and welcome to another edition of NDB Media's Sports Talk with the Guys, home of the Monday morning quarterbacks on Saturday. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a test. This is Sports Talk in 2023. From Bangor, Maine, all the way down to Pomona, California. From Anchorage, Alaska, to Miami, Florida. This is Sports Talk with the Guys. I know, it's a little early for being loud, right? But it is what it is. It is 600 Pacific time. And as you know, the O stands for, oh my God, it's early. But hey, we only have one speed, and that is liquid crack speed. I already have it. It's right here, ready to go. Hey, you know caffeine is our crack. Hey, it is what it is. And picture me, a man in his 50s, 54 to be exact, suffering from physical and mental workplace injuries, more mental than anything else, here on a Saturday morning, and doing what engineers cannot do. Speak of sports without a calculator or a slide rule. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Dr. Richard. I mean, Almighty. Dr. Almighty?
Okay, thank you. So, hey, welcome everybody. I'm here. So don't leave. Okay, just it's a safe place. Don't leave because I'm here.
Oh, wait a minute. It's a safe place? Dude, I thought we agreed that it was not a safe place.
That's not a safe place. You're right. Watch out for the minefield. Hey, Roger, it seems like you're feeling pretty good this morning. That caffeine, I mean,
I haven't had it yet.
Did you take your medication? Is that why you're
No.
around?
I'm running on a high. I've been feeling bad all morning. I was actually at about 5:28 this morning. A little over 30 minutes ago, I was going to notify everyone I am not feeling well. I'm lightheaded, I'm nauseated, and I'm just not going to go. And I worked through it and still feel a little lightheaded, feel a little tired. And hey, we're here. So the light goes on, you got to be ready to go, right?
I guess so. Well, Roger, I'm glad that you're going to soldier on. And I hope that you're going to stay well and not get worse again. So
I think it's stress right now, which I cannot control, unfortunately. So I'm just going to have to work through it. So I apologize, folks. It is what it is. And we're good. So a good morning, Elizabeth. Lothal Cat.
Yep. Good morning to Elizabeth. Welcome to the chat room. Glad you're here. Hope you're feeling well, too. So
I don't know. Richard, did you catch her post that she said the one and only, the man with the big chair, called her a Lothal Cat? So I don't know if that's going to be her nickname from this point forward. And I don't know, but she says, I haven't been to bed yet, so thought I'd pop in. Oh, lucky you, Elizabeth. Lucky you. Good for you, young lady. Thanks for sharing. Some of us don't live there. So we wish we did, but hey, it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a glorious morning. Thank you for joining us. I'll get to my shtick. We'll get it out of the way so we can get this program going. It is 62 degrees today. It's going to get to high 94 and an overnight low of 69. So it's actually cooler right now than it will be tomorrow. Tomorrow begins an excessive heat watch, which will lead into Monday and Tuesday. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot, man. It's going to be like Da Nang, Vietnam. I've never been there. But you know where I get my intro from. It is from Robin Williams. It's from the very beginning, folks. It is from Good Morning Vietnam. That is my homage to Robin Williams. I don't say it all the time, but come on, man. You got to know. But anyway, humidity is 78 degrees. Pressure is 29.92 inches. Visibility is 10 miles, even though the sun is not up yet. But apparently you can see 10 miles right now. The wind is heading to the southwest at 2 miles per hour. Dew point is 55 degrees. UV index is 0 of 11. Duh! There's no sun out right now. And the moon phase is a waxing gibbous. A waxing gibbous. That's what it says. Sunrise is at 6:20 a.m., sunset is 7:24 p.m. So we're on our way to winter, where the days get shorter and the nights get longer. Woohoo!
True story.
Yeah, true story. Today, very quickly in sports, back in 1903, the Phillies walked 17 Dodgers in a game. Well, wait, was that the other day, or was that just? Well, no, that's 1903. Back in 1930, the Chicago Cubs, Hack Wilson, not a pitcher, hits his 44th home run and breaks Chuck Klein's National League record. That is cool. Back in 1967, Dean Chance pitches a 2-1 no-hitter, and the Twins sweep Cleveland. Woo! Also on this day in
Like I
1995,
wanted to hear that.
I'm sorry?
Like I wanted to hear that.
Hey, dude, it is what it is, man.
I know.
I know. I was, I was out of line.
Ooh,
I owe you a professional and a personal apology. You
no,
ain't gonna get it
it
right
is
now.
what it is. I
I
mean,
said I owe you.
you owe me now. All right.
I owe you an apology.
It wasn't your
Yeah,
fault. They lost four that the Twins swept them. I mean, Jesus,
yep.
it's nothing new back then. So, right, like you
In
said, it is what
1994.
it is, and they're
Yes, it
just
is.
slipping back. Cleveland seems to be slipping back into that role. So we'll see what happens in the future.
It's unfortunate what has been happening with a lot of the teams right now. It's a lot, and of course the Yankees they've won like 3 out of the last 80, so that's something to brag about. That's why I put my Yankee colors on. They had lost 9 in a row, and never in the history of the Yankees, wow, this is how low we've gone, have they lost 10 in a row. So, hey, speaking of baseball, back in 1990, Bo Jackson hits his fourth of 4 consecutive home runs. And in 1995, Brian Lara completes his seventh Test cricket century, scoring 179 at the Oval in London.
That's
So, this one's for you, buddy. The temporary Sunday school teacher was struggling to open a combination lock on the supply cabinet. Elizabeth had been told the combination but couldn't quite remember it. Elizabeth went to the pastor's study and asked for help. Roger, of course, said, "Come into the room," and began to turn the dial. After the first 2 numbers, Roger paused and stared blankly for a moment. Finally, Roger looked serenely heavenward and moved his lips silently. And then he looked back at the lock and quickly turned to the final number and opened the lock. Elizabeth was amazed. "I'm in awe of your faith, Roger." "That's really nothing. The number is one piece of tape on the ceiling." That was for all of you, folks. That one was for all of you. I'm scared. Oh, you're scared. Yes, it is, and that's what we have. So I was gonna say Zeke right now, folks. I am genuinely having trouble with names. Do you know what sets? Okay, well maybe I shouldn't. Yeah. Whoa! I was gonna discuss some HR issues right now, and maybe I should not have. But uh, when I call the host by a different name, they all get peeved. It's really funny, and I don't mean to be dismissive because I am getting old, man, and it's a bummer.
well,
So
we're used to it now, Roger. I mean, I just,
not everyone.
I just go with the flow. Well, I know not
You're
everyone because no one wants to be called Richard, but that's but that's just the way it is. So
well. I've told you guys that story, right? My badge of honor when I got called Richard. Have I told you that one, Almighty? Okay, I'll get out of the way real quick. For many years, people would forget my name, Roger, and they would like I could see it. They're working out. Their little hamsters are moving, and I'm like, Richard. I always knew they didn't remember because they wouldn't say Richard or Hey Richard. They would Richard, and it was for the longest time. They weren't doing it maliciously. They were doing it because I never had a good impression on them, and I didn't see them all that often. But they remembered it was an R for like that little rat bastard. That's how they knew it was an R. But I was in negotiations. I believe this was in 2009. We were negotiating our maybe 206, but anyway, the negotiator for my employer walked in and he was like, "Okay, guys, I know all 48 of you are waiting for us. We're a little tardy, but we'll be here shortly. And just bear with us. We need about 20 minutes and then we'll meet up to go over our next round." And he looked around and he pointed at me. And my tent is in front of me with my name, okay? And he's maybe about 4 people down. He's like, "Oh, you made it this time, Richard." And I'm looking up at him, glaring at him, and I'm like, "That's exactly what I think of you too, Richard." And it dawned on me why people over the years have called me Richard. So it is what it is. And Elizabeth says, "Hey, just go through everyone's names. You'll eventually hit it." Or as I say, I'll eventually get it, but I'll take it. Yeah, it's just crazy. I, yeah, I'm getting old, man. But anyway, it is good. I was watching an episode of The Big Bang Theory this morning, and they were after Sheldon, and everything they told him, I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And the last one was, oh God, I do like hearing myself speak. So I'm working on that. I got to get Richard in on it because I do like my voice. Unfortunately, I am on the stuck up side. So, hey, what's the first story you want to get to? And good morning, Sam. Thank you for the like. We got a like this morning. Darn it, Sam. I purchased the works from Emily Dickinson, all of her works. I listened to you. We're probably going to be doing a poetry program. So we'll see. We'll see moving forward. It's like, what are we not going to do, Richard?
I know. I think everything. I think we've almost covered almost every base.
Travelage Radio is moving over to the video network in January of next year. Dan Schlossberg, you know him. Look him up. He's written more baseball books than anyone in the world, and he's on our network. He's on every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time on Blog Talk Radio. So thank you, Elizabeth. Got the like on that one, or a little bit of love. Thank you. And I hope you got the combination right this time, but that's neither here nor there. And also, Bob Nessoff. You guys should look him up too. He's an AP war correspondent. He's been around the world. He already wrote a book called Spiderhole. He has another one. Actually, his fourth book is now in the works. And Bob is going to be going over the training early next week. And he's going to be moving Travel Talk over to the network, 4 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday. So I think that's it. And of course, Jamie Ruby with Fandom Access will be making the move over on Tuesday nights as well. Yeah, he is an amazing writer. Actually, both of them, Bob Nessoff and Dan Schlossberg. And they're on the network, folks. Like, oh my God, this is crazy. So it's really good stuff. So, all right. I think I'm good. I just want to hit volleyball, and I mean that both figuratively and literally, and National Rugby League. In round 26 of the Telstra Premiership, the Eels took it to the Panthers 32-18. This was 2 days ago. Yesterday, Warriors tripled up on the Dragons 18-6. The Cowboys, oh my goodness, the Cowboys beat the Dolphins 34-10. Oh, that's right. National Rugby League. The Storm put it to the Titans 37-16. The Roosters earlier today 32-8 over the West's Tigers, and the Broncos 29-18 over the Raiders. Yeah, it must be regular season. The Raiders are losing again. Later on today at 9 p.m. Pacific time, Bulldogs visit the Seagulls, and the Knights at 11:05 p.m. Pacific time visit the Sharks. And the Rabbitohs are on a bye. And finally, looking at the 2023 schedule for AVP, that's the All Volleyball Pro Circuit. The next upcoming events will be in Chicago Open, September 1st to the 3rd. And the championships are to be announced. There's nothing on calendar just yet. And the AVP Tour Series, the Laguna Beach Open, will be October 13th through the 15th. All right, we'll get to the rest of the news as we move forward. Once again, good morning. Richard, what is the first thing that you would like? Almighty, what is the first thing you would like to get to this morning?
Well, this is just a real quick thing. NFL teams have to cut their rosters to 53 players by Tuesday at 4 p.m. So that will be, the death knell,
right.
Death knell for some players. And then they'll have the weekend off, and then we will get to it on Thursday with the Chiefs playing Detroit Lions. I don't know. Looks like it's going to be could be a good game there.
I don't know if Comics 101 is scheduled for September 1st. Oh, no, it wouldn't be. It would be the professionals. So we may be on Wednesday, September 6th, going over the Thursday game as well as the season. So if you want to join us for the picks, Elizabeth, you've got to do this. You've got to join us and choose all of the football games for the next, 18 weeks, right? Once the season starts. Yeah, because they only have one bye, if I remember correctly. So,
well, if you count the bye week before the season starts, that's a bye week too before the season starts.
which
because
no one
that's
plays, so we don't have to pick anything. So that'll be okay. So that's it, huh? They're gonna close their rosters, and that is the roster limit, 53 players, and it's gonna be next Tuesday on September 5th. Wow, dude, it's right around the corner. That is impressive. So I'm actually gonna reach for my Sports Talk with the Guys calendar and check some auto events just very quickly. I don't know where my calendar is. Oh my God Almighty! I don't know where my Sports Talk with the Guys calendar is. This is embarrassing. You're embarrassing. I'm disappointed. I do not know where it is. That is horrible. I don't know where it is. I'm at a loss. Elizabeth says, "I'll pencil it in." Like the code for the safe. I hope you will, Elizabeth. I hope you will. Next time you'll know the code. I don't know where my calendar is, Almighty. I always put it away right here, and I cannot find it.
uh-oh.
I am
Looks
at
like
a
the gnomes were busy last night taking your stuff.
damn them. Damn them. This is horrible. I am wow. Okay, well NASCAR's doing something. Formula One's doing something. So that'll be it. Oh, you know what? I had to do some work yesterday, so it actually might be behind me. Yeah, I think I might see it. All right, I'm gonna let it go. All right, well, folks, we're gonna take a quick look at baseball right now, and see there was some news apparently on Shohei Ohtani, and the Angels are being ridden very hard on this. Apparently, on the Sports Talk with the Guys Facebook page, I did post an article this morning on Shohei Ohtani, and apparently the Los Angeles Angels make a huge decision, and this happened within the last 15 hours or so. The Los Angeles Angels had their worst case scenario happen earlier this week when it was determined that both Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani would be sidelined with significant injuries. As a matter of fact, the UCL for Ohtani, the second time is torn. And when you come back a second time, the chances are full recovery are bad. But anyway, in Otani's case, it seems like the team has a plan in place to keep him on the field despite his torn UCL in his right elbow. It has already been determined that Ohtani will not pitch for the remainder of the season, as he will likely need offseason surgery to repair his elbow. If he does have surgery for that muscle, he will not pitch next year. So there's a 95% chance he will not pitch. You never know. But due to his dual threat ability as a fantastic hitter, they'll seemingly keep him in the Angels lineup for the rest of the season. Reports emerged on Thursday from ESPN's Alden Gonzalez that Ohtani will likely be able to hit despite his UCL tear. So we'll see. If you want to look at the article on the Sports Talk with the Guys on Facebook, it's from the LA Times. It comes up with a little bit more. Good morning, Big Dog. I did hear you, but I did not see you a moment ago. How are you doing, young man?
Good. How are you doing?
We're live on a Saturday morning. So it's not too bad.
I of course came in when you were talking about this particular article. Is Trout out again? Is that a thing? Because he just came back this week. So you said they were both out, but Trout came back like Monday or Tuesday. So did he get hurt again and he's on the injured list?
I'll have to go ahead and verify that, but it did say earlier this week when it was determined that both Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. So it was early in the week when he was still out, I guess. So I won't be able to tell you.
And Ohtani did play yesterday. DH, he went 1 for 2 with 3 walks.
Yeah.
And 1 hit. So he is in the lineup.
Now, in the LA Times article, it's rather interesting, and I'm just going to paraphrase some of the stuff that's in there, that apparently the Angels weren't in command of this situation. And the LA Times writer is blaming the manager when he said, "This is the first time we hear of this injury. We didn't know any better." And he takes a very, I wouldn't say condescending, but he takes a view that the Angels let Ohtani do what he wanted to do. because they were the only team that probably would let him do whatever he wants to do. You have to think back, folks. Baseball thinking is still in the dinosaur age in many ways. And the whole idea of Ohtani being able to pitch and pitch and hit, they're called one-trick ponies that are good for a little bit, but then they have to decide to do something, one or the other. Even Babe Ruth with the Yankees did it. He moved from pitching to hitting, but he still did pitch with the Yankees from time to time in the 1920s, but his numbers at best were atrocious. He had given up on pitching when the Yankees purchased him because they wanted him to hit because he was so good at what he did. I believe he might have put in 1 year with the Yankees where he was decent, but he was not used as a pitcher. You can almost count the number of games every season that he would pitch. So Ohtani is doing something that almost no one has done. And for the last 3 years, he hasn't been healthy. He always gets hurt. But for the majority of these seasons, he has put up some Herculean numbers. So this is what a lot of people are going to have to determine. Is he the greatest player? No, not even close. Again, he's done it for 3 years. If you want to go by 3 years, based on what other players have done, there's like 50 other players that are greater. It's 3 years, folks. What he has done is phenomenal. We have followed him, and his exploits speak for themselves. But that's beyond it right now. In the article, the Angels are already planning for Ohtani's comeback with them in the article. So it's kind of cool. There's some good stuff in there. You may want to check it out. And they do a good job of slamming the Angels, unfortunately, in their management, because they say that they relied on Ohtani for everything. So I don't know. Most teams are going to rely on the player to inform them when they're hurt anyway. But they're implying that no one would have done what the Angels did with Ohtani. Check it out. If you have some comments, go ahead and let us know. But it was a long article. There was some good stuff behind it, and it is on the Facebook page. So it is what it is. So, did you want to add anything else to that, Mr. Big Dog?
No, you pretty much said it all. I mean, he's been hurt, and every time he gets hurt, he stops pitching, but continues hitting. That happened again last year, where he would, there was a muscle strain or whatever it was, and he didn't pitch, but he was hitting. Since you are the basketball guru, in your opinion, is he a better pitcher or a better hitter?
Basketball guru?
A baseball guru. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm sorry too. But good morning, Jay. And yes, Elizabeth, you are the Loath Cat.
The hell's a Loath Cat?
It's from a TV series. She liked
Oh,
this
okay.
cat, and I said, "Well, you're our resident Loath Cat." Look, the numbers that he is putting up are really good for a pitcher, and the hitting, dude, he's all world when he hits. His blasts are monstrous. When he hits a ball, it's not one of those like, here's a pitch, oh, swung on, outfielder's going back to the fence, to the wall, oh, he might have a play, and he just misses. No. When Ohtani connects, the outfielders don't even move. They're I'm not going to say they're Herculean, but yeah. And he's an exciting player. He's a two-way player. And folks, look, I've been told over the years that I am resentful on Ohtani because he's not on the Yankees, that I'm ignorant on Ohtani, that he is the greatest player of all time. I'm like, yeah, look, I have 54 years watching baseball. He is not the greatest player.
Yeah, but that's just by one person.
No, it's actually many.
That
You
say
don't
that
spend time. Yeah.
Ohtani's been.
Oh my God, Big Dog, you don't waste your time on the baseball blogosphere when they talk about Ohtani. Dude,
Are you talking about the blogosphere or are you talking about the Facebook people, the Facebook idiots? Because that's two different things.
Well, the blogosphere is the internet. That's the phrase when they
Oh,
have all these
I know
players.
what the phrase is, but I'm just specifically talking about Facebook idiots because I do spend my time, but it's on the Lakers side.
Yeah, well, no, and out there in the internet, there are a lot of people that are already calling him a $1 billion player and the $500 million year. Look, the article, the LA Times article, actually does talk about that. How he came over before 25, he came over at 23, and they're saying he blew $200 million because of the decision he made. Folks, you can get hurt at any time. It's always a risk. And look, as far as this player, my contention has been he is not the greatest of all time. He still has a lot to play and a lot to do before he's even in the breath. Folks, how many players have we seen play 1, 2, 3 years, 4, 5, and then they disappear? There's a lot of them. So I have no time for people who. Now, do I enjoy seeing his exploits? Are you effing kidding me? Yeah. It's just not going to call him a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to call him a future Hall of Famer. I'm not going to call him anything. He is the player that he is, and he's doing amazing stuff. And there it is, Jay. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Yes. And I'm not even going to be derisive and say, that's fine. What other people? No. I'm arrogant, but I'm not that arrogant. Everyone has their own opinion, and that is the beauty of what we do on Sports Talk with the guys. I always say the numbers speak for themselves. And when you look at the totality, he's had 3 good years. The other 2 years, he was hurt. Actually, the other 3 years, he was a good player. But again, let's let him string it out a little bit. I am disappointed that he's hurt, and that might have been the fault of the Angels. We'll never know. We'll never know. But a lot of people in baseball are shaking their heads saying, we told you so. But those very same idiots are the very same ones that were talking smack 3 years ago or 4 years when he got hurt the first time. So he got hurt, put up 3 very good years, and then he's been hurt again. I hope he continues to perform. He's good for baseball, and I hope he's able to recover. I don't think he's the greatest player of all time. Prove it to me. 3 years is not a career. So,
Well, first of all, I don't think, well, at least in my opinion, I don't think you can call anybody the greatest of player of whatever sport if they're still playing. You have to wait for the career to be over before you put that type of moniker on them. And second of all, the I don't know if that particular writer was blaming the Angels for what happened to Otani, or as you say, the blogosphere. But like you said earlier, a few minutes ago, you rely on the player to tell you when he's hurt. I as a trainer or medical assistant or whatever that goes and checks on all the players, if I go up to you and say, "Hey, what's hurting?" and you tell me nothing, even though your elbow or your shoulder or your leg or your knee is bothering you, but you tell me nothing and you're walking and throwing and everything else is fine, how am I supposed to know you're hurt? So the idiots, and that's what I'm calling them, are idiots out there saying, "Oh, it's the Angels' fault that he's hurt." No, it's not. It's Otani's fault for not saying anything, saying, "Hey, there's a twinge. I'm a little sore, blah blah blah." Um, because for whatever reason he didn't want to be taken out of the lineup, or he didn't want to let anybody know he was hurt. He could work through it. Whatever the reason, it's the player's fault. I'm sorry. Because if a trainer doesn't know you're hurt, he can't go to the medical staff and say, "Hey, this is what's going on." So the fact that people are saying, "Oh, it's the Angels' fault," that's a bunch of BS. Sorry.
so it's good, folks. A lot of people are going to be real Monday morning quarterbacks now based on this injury, and they're going to be talking a lot of crap because it's easier to throw dirt on someone in a situation like this. So I do recommend you take a look at that article that I posted. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and you'll see exactly what the recriminations and claims are. The only thing that I would add is he exhibited signs that they should have inquired, and whether they did or did not, again, it's going to be determined. But you guys should check it out. I said I'm paraphrasing. It's a very long article. It's well done. Whether you agree with it or not is immaterial. I'm pointing out to you that the gist of it is that for Minasian, I believe he's the GM, for him to say, "Oh, this is the first we heard about it," players like, or the article is, well, there were warning signs, and you should have known better. So there is a lot in there. Again, whether you agree with it or not, it's there. Jay says, tell that to Kawhi from the Clippers.
Yeah, I guess he became Hawaiian
Yeah.
by the way it was spelled.
It's okay. It's early in the morning. I don't know if he's even had his coffee this morning. So I want to welcome everyone who is in the chat room. It is 6:32 a.m. Pacific time, August 26, 2022. Hopefully Almighty will be returning shortly, and maybe he is smarter than all of us and getting a bite to eat right now. So yes, Jay, we figured it was. So it's all good. If the big dog will have the standings ready to go for Major League Baseball, as we traditionally do, I'm going to go over the scores for yesterday, and we'll do that right now. The games were for August 25th. Friday, of course. The Tigers 4-1 over the A-Holes. The Nationals 7-4 over Miami. The Yankees, oh my God, I think they won the second game in the month of August. They beat the Rays 6-2. The Orioles edged the Rockies 5-4. The Pirates, oh my goodness, the Pirates. They outlasted the Cubs 2-1. The Phillies 7-2 over the Cardinals. The Guardians, or the Indians, Almighty's team 5-2 over the Blue Jays. That was a bit of an upset because the Blue Jays are 70-59. Well, 70-58, and they lost. The Dodgers put it to the Red Sox 7-4. Lynn over Pivetta. And the Angels 3-1 over the Mets. Sandoval versus Senga, and Estevez picked up his 27th save. The Athletics, oh my goodness. Whoa! The Athletics won 12-4 over the Black Sox. Wow. Neal won his first game, drops his ERA to 6.88, and Chase falls to 5-7. His ERA rises to 4.87. The Twins 12-2 over the Rangers. The Brewers 7-3 over the Padres. The D-backs 10-8 over the Commies. The Seahawks 7-5 over America's AAA team. And finally, the Braves 5-1 over the Hated Ones. Big Dog, if you would, please.
In the American League, leading the East is the Baltimore Orioles at 80-48, followed by Tampa Bay at 78-52. Toronto is 70-59. Boston is 68-61, and unfortunately, the Yankees are 62-66. In the Central, it is Minneapolis leading the way at 67-62. Cleveland is 61-68. Detroit is 59-69. The White Sox are 50-79, and Kansas City is 41-89. In the American League West, it is still the Rangers leading. Oh, I take that back. The Rangers and Seattle are tied for first place at 72-56. The Assholes are one game behind at 72-58. The Angels are 62-67, and the Oakland A's are 38-91 and are the only team in Major League Baseball to have been eliminated from the playoffs already. In the National League, it is the Atlanta Braves leading the way in the East at 83-44, followed by Philadelphia at 70-58. Miami at 65-64, the Nationals at 60-69, and the Mets are 59-70. In the Central, it is the Milwaukee Brewers at 71-57, followed by the Cubs at 67-61, 4 games behind, followed by Scorekeeper's second favorite team, the Cincinnati Reds, 67-63. Pittsburgh is 58-71. And the Cardinals are 56-73. In the West, it is the Dodgers once again leading the way and by a lot. They are 79 and 48. Second place are the Diamondbacks at 68 and 61, 12 games behind. The Giants are 66 and 62, 13 and a half behind. San Diego is 61 and 68. And the Rockies are 48 and 80. The worst team, of course, is the Oakland A's. And I believe the best team is the Dodgers. No, the Braves. The Braves are the best team in baseball at 83 and 44. You're on mute, scorekeeper.
Is a sportscaster. His name is actually, Elizabeth may know him. Brody Brazil. He is up in the Sacramento area, and he has a wonderful. He is a newscaster, and he also does his own program on YouTube. I'm going to see if I can find his link, but I saw him yesterday, and he was talking about the interview of the owner, Schneider, and this was actually really good. So I recommend you check him out. But here's some of the stuff that I was able to get in screen grab for this. And this is from his first interview, basically ever, that he's had. And, good morning, Ice Princess. Yeah, stupid Braves. So, again, this is from Brody Brazil. I will provide the link in a little bit. In the end, we concluded that the city had not raised sufficient money to cover the commitments it made, Fisher said. We also had a deadline imposed by the collective bargaining agreement from a year and a half ago that required the A's have a binding agreement on a new stadium by January of 2024, or we would lose our revenue sharing, which would be hugely detrimental to the organization. And you have to watch this guy because he is a no-Cal fan, and he provides quite a bit more depth. He's like, wait a minute. This move is being necessitated, due to the loss of revenue sharing? Wait a minute. Revenue sharing is supposed to help a team. So, wait a minute. So that stands out. And I have about 5 of these, folks, so forgive me. A spokesman or spokesperson for the Oakland mayor, Shen Thao, pushed back on Fisher's assertions Thursday night, saying the city had raised $475 million and was just $100 million short of reaching its goal. But that was at the moment. In addition, 2 grants totaling another $65 million are due to pay out in the next month, which is September, and they gave the actual date in the interview. So they're not making it up. They said this is when it's going to come in. So the city of Oakland, for their commitment on this $12.5 billion waterfront project, is really only $36 million short of the goal. $36 million. Now, the A's lease on the Oakland Coliseum, the team's home since 1968, expires after next season, and the Las Vegas Stadium will not open until 2028 at the earliest. Fisher said he is unsure where the team will play in the interim, adding that he'd be open to an extension of the Coliseum lease. The Oakland Athletics pay $1.25 million a year in rent. So, Jay, that's a complex question that we'll talk about in a moment. The A's have the lowest payroll in baseball and have not signed a prominent free agent during Fisher's 18-year tenure. They are in the midst of one of the worst seasons in big league history at the time, 37-91. Obviously, they won a game after winning 97 games in 2021. Brody did say, fact check, the 97 games in 2021 was incorrect, but they were competitive. He didn't have the exact number. He didn't mention or he didn't hear. The A's tore down a young, promising team, trading away All-Stars Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, and Matt Chapman before the start of the 2022 season. Apparently, the team has lost $40 million. The lowest payroll in baseball has lost $40 million. And Brody said, that's this year? Like, well, wait a minute. How much did they lose the year before? Of course, The owner said, we've lost $40 million. The question for everyone is, provide us the proof. Major League Baseball does not, because they're privately owned entities. There's no reason for them. The only time someone can actually check the books is when they're approved for sale and the approved buyers can take a look at the finances. It's the only time. Now, there are many ways that Major League Baseball can determine revenue streams, and we know what they are. When you look at the expenses of the team, when you look at what they're taking in money, a lot of people do not understand how they're losing $40 million a year. Prominent baseball economists are like, dude, how is that possible? If there's an issue, show us. Maybe we can work something out. But of course, they won't. The owner, Fisher, says all of that will change once the team moves to Las Vegas. Fisher promised, citing the proposed $1.5 billion in private financing for now a 33,000 seat ballpark on 9 acres of the Strip. You got to check him out. He does the math. He shows you the footprint of where the stadium is could be, and everyone knows, like, how is that possible? They sold it on 30,000 fans, and they're saying they're going to take in average 28,000 to make this deal work. We would not be making that kind of investment if we weren't planning on putting a team on the field that can win the World Series, Fisher said. We understand that Vegas wants a winner and demands a winner. Oakland has not demanded a winner. Folks, when your team wins or is competitive, your fans will come. If you're not doing well, your team's going to lose, and fans aren't really interested unless you're in Los Angeles or Anaheim. And there's actually another team that actually is also scoring 3 million win or lose too. But those are just, they stand out. Win or lose, the Angels pull in $3 million. 3 million fans a year. That's crazy. He is saying that Las Vegas expects a winner and they demand a winner. Isn't that crazy? That will change. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I took 2 pictures of it. Oops, sorry. Now, Jay said lies, lies, lies. Folks, they got this passed on a 30,000 seat stadium. Now they're saying 33,000, and the plans for the stadium do not exist yet. We don't know the actual cost. Fisher and Lou Wolf purchased the A's in 2005 for reported $180 million. Forbes estimates the current value of the team at nearly $1.2 billion. Fisher on Thursday reiterated a claim that he made earlier in the week to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, saying the A's lost $40 million last year alone. Given the available revenue streams, especially from local and national media rights, the figure raised eyebrows among sports economists. Fisher clapped back by saying, I'm the one writing the checks, so I think I know what things cost. Fisher has been a target of the fans' wrath in Oakland since announcing the Las Vegas plan in April. Green t-shirts, which quote unquote sell, written across the chest in white, are prominent in every game, as are chants of Fisher to sell the team. Asked what he thinks of the protest, Fisher said, I take it personally as I should. It's my decision to move the team. The decision was mine, and so I understand and appreciate the way fans feel about the decision.
When did they have a good record when they were competitive?
In 2020, they won, I believe, 36 games, and if you extrapolate it on the 80 or 90 game season, that was a good season. And I believe it was in 2021 as well. They were still competitive. And
okay,
they got rid of their stars starting the 2022 season.
Okay, so just like on comparison. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last 5 years, so since 2018, Oakland had 2018, where the hell are we at? Okay. In 2018, for the year, they got 1,572,616 fans for an average of 19,427 per game. In 2019, they had 1,662,211 fans for an average of 20,521. In 2020, no numbers because it was COVID. In 2021, they only had 701,430 fans for the entire year, which was an average of 8,660 fans per game.
I don't pretend to know what the COVID protocols were in 2021.
Okay, but in 2022, they only had 787,902 fans for an average of 9,849.
Yep. Because, excuse me, they did not do well in 2022. And I'll have to check the numbers, but the average stadium draw across Major League Baseball is about 22 to 23,000. So prior to we're within that zone.
Prior to what?
Prior to the last 2 years.
What was the average you said?
Across Major League Baseball, it's approximately 22 to 23,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, they've been under that. They haven't hit 22,000 fans since 2013.
Yeah.
The average, in 2019, that they had 20,521 average for a total of 1,662,211. The Major League average, or that's the American League average, was 2,039,521 for the year. So they were a good a little over 400,000 under the average. So I could maybe see them losing all that money if for the last 2 years they've only averaged 8,600 and 9,800 per game.
Well, Miami, that has a lot less, hasn't reported the same losses, but they themselves, they have a new stadium down there. And again, their revenue streams come in. And when you look at the lowest payroll, which is the primary issue, is a lot of people in baseball are saying bullshit. There's almost no way that they're losing what they claim. So every time a team wants to lose, they always say they're losing money so that they can get a better contract, they can leave and go somewhere else. And now, this week, Baltimore is talking about it. This is crazy. We already know about Milwaukee, and there's 2 other teams that are now talking about getting a new stadium. It's like everyone got caught unawares. And the commissioner said, no, we're not going to have a new team come in until 2 teams come in until we resolve Tampa Bay and Oakland. And now all of a sudden you have 4 additional teams that are, we need a new deal too. We need a new stadium. And they're starting to cry foul because they want to remain competitive.
Does Major League Baseball have a minimum
no
for their salary?
No. They fought over that and it didn't happen. No, they don't. Unlike basketball.
That's why they're always going on strike.
Oh. Almighty.
Yeah.
Does football have a minimum?
Yes, they do. Because, they have a minimum. They do have a minimum. Yes, that's true.
I agree.
As do I.
Yeah, I think the NHL also has one. And excuse me, sorry. So, the owner is
full of shit.
Well, I'm not going to say that because we don't see his books, and he will not provide the books. So I'm not going to go and say it. I do rely on the economists that are much smarter than I am when it comes to baseball. That all Brody Brazil said was when he stated that they lost $40 million last year a lot of eyebrows went up. That was the quote. So I'm not going to say he's full of it, but when you look at what Oakland has done to try to deliver something, Oakland is only $36 million short. And it's actually more money that they're putting in as well than the Las Vegas deal. So, folks, we talked about this over the last few weeks. The Raider success is going to taint everyone because the Raiders are making it look good, and Las Vegas is doing very well because of the Raiders. That's a whole different other monster. There's 10 games a year there. That's it. Maybe a playoff with the Raiders. I doubt it, but and I think the Raiders won again. So I think we know what their season is going to be. I think they're perfect in preseason, but I don't know.
Yes, they are.
So once again, yeah, show me the money, right, Jay? Show me the money. When the hearings were going on in Las Vegas, and I was watching actually in Carson City, there was a lot of stuff that, if you were paying attention, they were kind of softening on the sides. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. Schneider has finally given an interview, and this is the result of the interview. And he could say, to shut everyone up, these are the numbers, folks. Now, as you know, a lot of reason is that to go to Oakland, the stadium is old and the upkeep is horrible. That's another issue why fans don't go. We've seen the videos on YouTube. We've seen them all over the internet. It's horrid. I'm going soon. I'm probably not going to make it this year. I want to go to Oakland before they leave. Their lease expires in 2024, so that's my deadline. I'm hoping to get to a game before they leave.
Excuse me. Oh, we also have first-hand experience from Speedy being there too, don't we?
I don't know.
Or is he just reading articles? I got the impression that he was there, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
I don't recall. Big Dog, do you recall?
I think he's been there once or twice, but he doesn't go very often. Maybe once every couple of years, that he wants to go into Oakland. So
yeah, he's just south of Oakland, but he is a fan of the hated ones.
So, I mean, that's what I got from, previous episodes, probably from even last year. But, I wish if he was here, he would tell us. But I just thought he was. But as Big Dog said, he was there once or twice, so he probably gave a first-hand experience of how bad that stadium is.
Yeah.
And the Oakland Alameda Coliseum is run by Oakland, or is it run by the A's?
It's run by the A's.
It is run by the A's. Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm sorry. No. I apologize. No, I was trying to answer you while I was framing, while I was thinking about it. The way it works is there's a joint powers authority in Oakland, similar to what they're going to do in Las Vegas, which exists in Milwaukee and a few other places. And not unlike the Coliseum in Los Angeles, the Memorial Coliseum, there are lots of people involved. California's involved, the city of LA is involved, LA County, and of course USC is involved. And there still might be another agency because it might be a state park. So it's a joint powers authority. So that's the way it works in Oakland. I don't know who's involved on that.
So the A's don't run it. Okay, that's fine. So now that the A's, I'm just playing, I guess, I don't know if it's devil's advocate, but the Oakland A's haven't had their stadium renovated, upkept, or anything for years. And now that they want to leave because they're saying so, everybody's all of a sudden coming to it and bitching and complaining, saying you guys can't leave, so on and so forth. When they've been asking for, and we've gone through it for over a year, that they wanted a better stadium or a new stadium or a renovated stadium, and Oakland kept refusing. So now that they're actually leaving, I don't understand what's Oakland's beef saying, how can you leave us? look at everything we've done for you. Well, they haven't done shit for them. They don't upkeep the stadium. It shows the fans say, "Oh, you can't leave us. We're dedicated fans." No, you're not. How many times did we see that thing where they only had 1,000 or 2,000 fans for a game? That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. You get more fans at a AAA game than you do an Oakland A's game regularly. And the fans still keep, "Oh no, we're dedicated fans. You can't leave us. How dare you leave us? We're here for you all the time." And they're not. So I can't. I guess for me, I can't blame the owner for wanting to go somewhere. Now Vegas, of course, is the spot because it's the new shiny toy that all the leagues want to go to. Football, with the Raiders, the Golden Knights, who won a title last year. They're the Aces, who also won a title last year in the WNBA. Vegas is doing it right, or Vegas, the ownership of said leagues are doing it right when they're getting everybody together to try and put out a team that everybody wants to see. The Raiders was automatic because the Raider fans always want to, whether they win or lose, they're packing the house. Period. So the Raiders are an exception to that rule, saying, "Okay, if you win, we'll come. If you don't, we're not going to show up." They show up for the Raiders regardless because everybody loves the Raiders, just like everybody loves the Lakers, the Yankees, the Celtics, the Cubs, and those type of teams. People show up. Period. The Packers. I mean, there's a 35-year waiting list to go to games, for season ticket holders. So people, it depends on what you put out in the field. Even if it's a losing team, as long as they're competitive, is what they want. And Oakland's not doing that. So,
Big Dog, I will argue with you, being a Yankee fan, that Yankee fans are fickle. If the team isn't doing well, they don't show up.
I find that hard to believe.
George Steinbrenner fought with New York
fickle,
numerous times.
True, but they was always packed.
Well, if they weren't in contention, they did not. So
okay, then I put it to you right now that they haven't won a championship in 20 years. Are they selling out almost every game? Are they not the most highest priced tickets in all of baseball?
I believe they are, but they're not selling out.
They're about 70 to 75% of capacity?
I don't know. I haven't done the math, but being as a Yankee fan, I know they don't always go. Yankee fans are fickle. Everyone else you mentioned, yes, I can see that. It's a very loyal base, and it's New York fans are different. You don't win, they don't show up. Forgive me. So,
well, look at this. How often do we spend hours talking about Oakland?
I could very well see that. Sorry. Go ahead, Almighty.
Well, I was just saying, we spend all these hours on the Oakland A's twice a year. And that's so I just find that interesting that, we talk about them. And so, and as for the NFL, now the team has to spend 89% of the salary cap.
Wait a minute, who was that? The NFL?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they had so.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate that. Any other thoughts on the situation itself, Almighty, in general, on that stuff? And I think we're going to be discussing over the next few weeks the other teams that are now starting to cry foul as well, saying that they want some money too. I don't remember who the other teams are, but I do remember Baltimore's one, and obviously Milwaukee, which we talked about. I think it was a month or 2 months ago. So. All right. Be that as it may, ladies and gentlemen, we're entering the second hour here on Sports Talk with the Guys, home of the Monday Morning Quarterbacks on Saturday. And we we are going and blowing well into our second hour here. So it's really good stuff. We've done a little bit of baseball. We're going to circle around to that in a little bit. And let me see. Tanya says, damn straight, I'm not going to a game if my team isn't producing. Well, there's a little bit of a New York attitude. In that, Tanya and I will agree. But she is a hardcore Mets fan. Tanya and I will not agree.
So I'm sorry about this comment, Tanya. So is that why you don't go to many Mets games?
Actually, I think she gets the feed every day. She gets to see a lot of Mets games.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So it's really good. We'll see how she reacts. Tanya, if you want to join us and answer. So, all right. Like I said, we're entering our second hour. Big Dog, is there any story that you want to get to this morning?
I'll wait a little bit as far as the wrestling news. There was a couple of big wrestling. There was a couple of big wrestling deaths this week, and but and in the NBA, the James Harden situation is getting interesting because the NBA fined James Harden $100,000 for his comments calling Daryl Morey a liar, and of course refusing to show up to any team practices or preseason games. About 3-4 hours later, the NBA union filed a grievance against that, fighting it, saying that it was his right. You're gonna love this one. It was right because of the First Amendment that he is able to call Daryl Morey a liar, and they are fighting the $100,000 fine. So it'll go to an arbitrator, and we'll see what happens with that.
I think that. I'm sorry, Roger. Go ahead.
No, you go, Omari.
I know they're going to claim First Amendment, but isn't there clauses in his contract against that? I think Roger was going to say that as well. So, you know,
because he's making comments detrimental to the team.
Yeah, so that's gonna. We'll see how this works out, but you know, you just can't. You know, you know, it's in the contract, and we'll see what happens. And plus, if he's missing practice, well, that's different. But we'll see how it works out. You know, Raj. I mean, it's there's all kinds of stuff going on that, you know, sports right now is pretty bad. You know, it's not really good news. And if you're done, what about the shooting at the Chicago baseball game? One of our two.
Oh yeah, it happened yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One was wounded and was taken for medical care, and the other one was a slight. It's just a graze, and she refused medical help. So I guess it wasn't that bad, but don't know where the gun came from. We don't know how the gun got in the stadium because they do have metal detectors, and they don't know if the shot was in the stadium or outside the stadium. So, what do you think about that, Roger? I mean,
I am stunned. I saw that headline early this morning, and I skipped over it. I am absolutely stunned. So this happened at the stadium?
Yeah.
Yes.
During the game.
During the game.
Yep. And they did continue playing the game despite the chaos.
My God, I cannot believe I've missed this. This is crazy.
Said the woman, I said the two women, one of them, a 42-year-old woman, was shot in the leg, and a 26-year-old woman was shot in the abdomen, but she was only grazed by the bullet. The 42-year-old was transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center in fair condition, while the other woman refused medical attention. Says, quote, upon
and
receiving...
of course, this would not be on the Major League Baseball website. Sorry, Big Dog.
Says, quote, upon receiving notification of the incident, CPD responded immediately and deployed additional resources while coordinating with White Sox security to maintain safety of those who were in attendance or working at the game. At no time it was believed there was an active threat, end quote.
Yeah, there's gunshots, but no active threat. So that's interesting there, Big Dog. That last sentence you just said. And if there's a shooter, there is an active threat. I don't know the particulars of the stadium. I don't know if there's anything high enough for shots coming outside the stadium, or if there's just. It's interesting, but if it was coming from outside of the stadium, you would need a rifle. You would have to be. Well, I don't know if a handgun. I don't know if I'm trying to figure. I don't. The thing is I don't know where. He said it was in the bleachers.
They said it was in the bleachers. Okay, because this one doesn't say that.
Yeah,
but this one doesn't
say it either.
This one does say though that there was a lot of people there because evidently Vanilla Ice was going to be giving a concert after the game was over. So people were in the general, I guess, outside the stadium. But the concert was canceled. They said due to technical difficulties. I think it was just because of the shooting. Yeah. Personally,
when I read that, I started laughing.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like the Chicago police issued a statement, as well as the Chicago White Sox. And the White Sox released the following statement regarding tonight's incident. 2 fans attending Friday's game suffered non-life-threatening injuries after being struck by bullets. It is unclear to investigators whether the shots were fired from outside or inside the ballpark. The incident continues to be investigated by Area 1 detectives from the Chicago Police Department, while the police continue to investigate. White Sox security confirms that this incident did not involve any altercation of any kind. And the similar statement from the Chicago Police Department. I have to believe, folks, that if this happened in the stands, there would have been mayhem. So, I don't know. Well, if it was behind the stands in those concourses or open walkways or something, maybe. If someone took 2 shots in the state, in the bowl, for lack of a better word, dude, I can see everyone running for cover. Wow, that's crazy.
Roger, but even if it happened if the shooter was in the bleachers, you would have thought someone would have saw the dude pull out, fire shots, and run away. I mean,
if it was in the bleachers, yeah.
I'm just saying the guy would have to leave, and if he left the ballpark after the shots, I'm sure there's cameras. So I mean, I don't think. I didn't think. I'm sorry. I didn't take the time to look if there's any video of the shooting. Like people running around.
No, nor did I.
But you're right, Roger. I mean, the gunshots alone could have started a stampede, and more people could have been hurt trying to run out of the bleachers. Was this a White Sox game or the Cubs game, Roger?
White Sox.
Huh?
White Sox.
So is it like an open stadium where you can just go? So I don't know. I don't know the layout of the stadium, and I don't know where you would go to shoot from the outside the stadium. And all I'm saying is, if you're shooting, I don't know. I don't know where the bleachers are. I'm sorry, Roger, but bleachers usually mean the back of the stadium, and. I don't know, Roger. Maybe to me, if it came from the outside, that would take a high-powered rifle.
Well, there's video when you do a search for shooting in Chicago White Sox yesterday. I'm not good at the phrasing. There's video from the bleachers.
There's video from the bleachers?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're going to do this, folks. Give me one quick moment. Let me know if you can hear this.
Behind it, he did not hear it because you're in a loud White Sox baseball game. He did not hear any shots fired. Nevertheless, he did saw a woman who was sitting in front of him who had bleeding coming from her legs. And then he and a number of fans in that section, he says, were moved to another area of the ballpark while police were apparently, or at least security guards from the White Sox were able to talk to some of the folks who were there and try to figure out exactly what happened. We seem to be seeing a lot more police activity, though, in the last few minutes here on the outside of the ballpark. As you can see, we are also hearing a little bit more information. One of the fans says he believes that this may have actually started with an argument between two men inside the ballpark. There were apparently shots fired. We're told that 2 or 3 people may have been hit. Now, Chicago police had told us a short time ago that they were planning to give us an update at 10:45 and that White Sox officials would be there.
Look at that.
In the last minute or two, though, they have now canceled that plan and have no plans at this point to be able to speak to us, which may indeed be an indication that at this point it is still active on.
Wow.
But that I knew that they found blood in the stands, but I didn't hear about the altercation. I just thought it was, and that would probably make more sense. But still, where did the guys go?
You know, I don't know. And I was going to ask you this because Big Dog and I are familiar with security at Anaheim, Dodger Stadium, Crypto, and a few other places. Big Dog, and I'm not. It's for the sake of the conversation. How is security at Dodger Stadium as of late?
Oh, I haven't been a Dodger Stadium in years, but it used to be very good. I mean, there's always cops walking around, so the presence is there, and they are very quick to if something were to happen, like a fight starts, they get there very, very quickly. So I say it's good.
Yeah, we've joked when we go to the games that the LAPD has 50 cops at the stadium and 48 of them are in the left field bleacher section. And you have 2 cops running the rest of the stadium because it's pretty much the way it is. They're very rowdy out there, and I'm being stupid at this point. Anaheim has excellent security, I think. Big Dog and I know that under the O'Malleys, remember them, dude? The slightest hint of something, right?
Oh, yeah.
They were laser focused. Gridiron Girl, good morning, and thank you for that. So she's been to the games more than I have as of late, and she gives it a B. I don't feel unafraid going to Dodger Stadium. There are some people I just don't want to deal with, as I've said over and over, and that's
Los
really about
pendejos?
it. Yeah, the pendejos, yeah. The ones that are just trying, the ones with the small wee-wees and drink too much. And unfortunately, there are a lot of them at Dodger Stadium. So Tanya says here in New York City, security is no joke. Yeah, I can see that. Now, remember in the 80s, the Dodgers went to Chicago Cubs, and there was an incident with the fans, and the Dodger team got into it, and it took, do you remember, Big Dog? It was like 5-10 minutes before security showed up. Remember that incident in the 80s?
Oh, yeah. They don't care. They don't care in Chicago. Plus, it was the 80s.
There are a lot of teams that I wonder where their security level is. When I went to Seattle, city police were all around the stadium. They were all within sight of each other. They had security all over the place. I felt good in San Diego as well. I feel good in Anaheim, and I feel good at Dodger Stadium. I think there is security, and I appreciate that.
Well,
Gridiron Girl.
with San Diego, it's more that they have more people in green, dressed in green, looking for people.
Oh, yep. And good morning, everybody, says Gridiron Girl.
Gridiron Girl,
I remember
what's
that
up?
well. Yes, it was a different time. It really was. Yeah. So I do apologize for the dogs that are barking in the background. I'm so sorry. I think they want to play with us, but yeah.
I don't hear anything.
That's good. I'm glad. So, all right, folks. Wow. Almighty, when you've been to games, I think maybe Cleveland, how's security there? What's the feeling that you get from the stadium? Oh, Almighty may have stepped out. He is muted right now. So, okay. All right, folks, we're going to move on to the next story. If anyone in the chat room has anything that they would like us to go over, otherwise, Big Dog, is there anything else at this point
Um,
that you
they
would
of
like to
course
go over? Yeah.
they announced the Kobe statue will be unveiled on February 8th, 2024, and they did that to coincide with the of course Kobe's numbers and Gianna's number, the daughter Gigi's numbers. Of course, her number was 2, and Kobe's were 8 and 24. So having it on so it's February 8th, 2024. The statue will be unveiled in crypto.com. So that's a good thing. No one knows what the statue is going to look like yet. There are pictures out there on the internet, and those are from the statue that was built very hastily and put at the crash site by that one artist sculptor that had it up there for like a week, and then it was taken down. But no one knows what the statue is going to look like, other than probably the Bus family and probably Vanessa Bryant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I have to believe that Vanessa has seen it.
or the concepts of it, because they
Yeah.
probably won't be ready till probably the end of January. It's usually, once they cast the bronze and all that other thing that they got to do with it, it takes a while. So it's probably in the concept stages still.
I do want to let everyone know that I'm tentatively planning a professionals on September 6th, which will be the day before the NFL opens up on Thursday the 7th. So if you want to join us, we'll probably be doing some picks for that game, talking about the upcoming season. And if Big Dog wants to go over some of the rules, because I'm assuming the Big Dog is going to be, again, one of the major guys keeping track of all of this. What are you going to require as far as people submitting their picks and where if they're not here for the Saturday morning program?
Once again, we'll have it on Facebook posted by Tuesday. I'm going to try and shoot for Tuesday always. Wednesday morning at the very, very latest, because now we have Thursday games. But the post will be up. If you're not able to make it that previous Saturday, all picks have to be in before kickoff.
Of
You
each
have to have them.
individual game, yeah.
Yes, each individual game has to be in before kickoff. Now, if you're late on it, I can only take, say, the afternoon games then. Because once kickoff happens, I can't take any more morning games.
And where are they going to be required to post? Because, folks, we received messages from people. We saw text messages. We saw emails. We saw a lot of things. Where do you want it?
Okay. You can either, and reply to me. Don't reply to anybody else. So, because I'm the one that puts it in. So, either PM me with your picks or answer it right on the Facebook post. Nowhere else. I will be checking everywhere else like I always do, but the Facebook post and PM me your picks. Those are the main two to make sure that they're going to get in on time. And as you guys saw all last season, I reached out to everybody. Hey, Double D, Gig. Well, Gig was always good. Almighty, Dream. I need your picks. I still need your picks. I need your picks before kickoff, blah, blah, blah. And I would remind you. So you guys get all your picks in. So I'm going to do that again, but, to make it easier, if you guys can just put, like I said, either in Facebook or PM, and PM me, or Sports Talk with the Guys if you want.
We're going to announce this as we move on. Of course, we're going to announce it again next week. We're going to announce it on.
Well, next week is when we start picks.
Well, no.
Next Saturday. Yes, because at least the Thursday game. Otherwise, Thursday won't be included.
Well, when we do September 2nd, those are the picks for that week. And there are no games that weekend because that's the holiday. It would actually start the Thursday game on the 7th. So,
That's what I'm saying. And to pick the Thursday game, we'd have to pick it the previous Saturday, which is the 2nd.
well,
So next week,
I'm gonna
we
be
have to pick at least Thursday.
I'm going to be doing a professionals for that very reason on the Wednesday before to remind everyone and go over the ground rules again. It's not going to change. It's just how we do the reporting. So expect us to have a program on September 6th. And if the other hosts are not able to make it, I will start making sure that the posts are up there right now. So,
Because remember, last season for Thursday games, everybody went by the post when it was up on Tuesday or Wednesday. We didn't do it. I know we didn't do it the previous Saturday, but I'm saying maybe this week we can because it's the start of the season just to make sure. But if not, then it'll be through the post alone.
we want to make it easy for everyone. So we're going to be picking early to get this one going. So just play by ear, but we do need that you guys help us out in keeping track of all this. But we're looking forward to it. I knew we were going to have a conversation about this. I don't know if the rules are changed. We've always allowed you can miss one game. And there was talk about it last year and the year before, but we haven't done that because we don't always make every game. Look, I missed one game last year, okay, and it became the deciding factor, that one damn game. So but we allowed to miss one pick every week where you could take a pick 'em. So I don't know. I'd like to hear everyone's opinion on that moving forward, and we'll make a decision on that on the professionals. I am looking at still keeping it the way it is. But if the vast majority of people want it where you cannot miss a game, okay. I have no problem picking the games. Like I said, I get all of mine in. I just missed one last year. And and it might have been the very first game of the season.
No, it's when you were on a cruise.
Oh, that was in September. Yes. September 26th through the 30th. Yes. That's right. Yep. So that was, I guess, week 3 or week 4. All right.
The problem though with saying you can't miss any games is things happen. People are on the road. People can't get to it in time. So
No,
to say
no.
no, what?
He said, so if you miss 2 games, you're out? No.
See, well, then that's what I'm saying. But if you're telling us we can't miss a game, if the rule changes to you can't miss a game anymore, then you're out for that entire week because you're going to miss one game. I don't think that's right.
I didn't say anything like that.
I said if the rule changes to you can't miss any games, that's what I'm saying. If it changes, I didn't say it did. So if it changes where what if for whatever reason can't give me the Thursday game, does that mean you missed a game? That means you can't give me any picks now. So I think that's not. I don't think that would be fair.
So as of right now, you've got to have the picks in before kickoff. That's the best way to say it. And
Yep.
like I said, traditionally, because we know that. Okay, now that's interesting. See, now here's our first idea. Coffee says just go with it. If someone doesn't pick a game, they automatically get the road team. That's interesting. That is interesting.
No.
Well,
Because there's
I
a reason.
that, Dog,
There could be a reason why. He's saying that because he doesn't make actual picks.
Okay.
He takes every home team except for the Vikings if they're at home, or the Packers if they're away. Other than that, he takes every home game, so that's irrelevant for him to say something like that.
Okay, but I'm not going to just make a unilateral decision. For you saying no. If that's what other people would want to do, I can't say. That's why I'm like, that was our first idea. It's good. Now we'll hear from everyone. So I don't think it's going to come to pass, but we'll see. You never know. And it's looking to be, we're going to kick off year 16 in November of this program. That means we're entering our 15th year doing the NFL picks. That's a long time. That is crazy. And we've had a lot of people play over the years, and this should be a really exciting thing. Did you guys catch what happened in the NFL yesterday regarding Jay? Was it regarding the 49ers? Did they trade away their quarterback?
They traded away the draft pick, their number 3 draft pick from a few years ago to the Dallas Cowboys. Trey Lance.
So what do you mean? They traded the draft pick or they traded the player?
They traded the player. He was their draft pick from 2020.
Okay. So Jay, was this your starting quarterback? Was this the future one? I don't think he was the future one if they traded him away. That did surprise. Trey Lance is gone. Yeah. Wow. Who's your starting quarterback? Oh, that's right. Well, Garoppolo went over to the Raiders. Jay, do you know with your team who is your upcoming quarterback? So hopefully it'll take a moment for him to respond on that. Oh, Purdy. Are you familiar with him, Big Dog?
Yeah, he's the one that was hurt.
Okay.
Remember, they were doing really well, and then he got hurt. And then they started having the carousel of quarterbacks.
Donald Duck second. That's funny. Wow.
No, they're bringing. They just signed a rookie. His name is Mo Jontana, and he'll be wearing number 16 for them.
Okay, Jay says Sam Donald. Okay. That's funny. All right. Well, folks, there's a lot of tumultuous stuff going on in sports right now. It's really disappointing to see. Big Dog, I don't know if I got your opinion on the basketball player Durant, right? Oh, no, not Durant. Harden. When he called the owner a liar, which was a few weeks ago. I don't know whether it was 2, 3. Doesn't matter. Did you give your actual opinion on that? I know you reported that the NBA fined him, but what do you see moving forward on this?
Well, I mean, the unions are just doing their job, I guess. But I believe the fine is justified because he's saying stuff that's detrimental to the franchise. He's calling out their general manager who does all the hiring and firing and calling the guy a liar. And he has not given any proof or reason why he is a liar other than just to say it. And that is because he wasn't given a speedy trade that he requested, even though he is under contract with the team. So for me, it's about, once again, a bunch of crybabies that they're not happy where they're at. So they're saying, I don't want to be here anymore. Trade me. I don't care that I signed a contract with you. I don't want to honor that contract. You trade me to somewhere where I want to go. I want to be a Clipper. Trade me to the Clippers. Well, unfortunately, the Clippers didn't give the Rockets, I'm not sorry, the 76ers a package that was amicable towards them. I mean, they're not just going to give him away. Harden is still a top 20 player, top 15 player in the league, and you're not just going to give him away just because. So the fact that no one else came forward to want to trade for him is not the fault of the 76ers. It is the fault of James Harden and the way he plays. Because everybody is afraid now, oh, he's going to come with us. What if next year he decides he doesn't want to be here anymore? We've already invested in him. So, but yet Harden still wants to call Morey a liar, even though he really has not given any reasons why he's a liar.
Well, the grievance procedure will take its course. And where are they in the NBA season right now? Have they already started the full practices, or are they like still doing scrimmages and stuff like that?
Preseason has not started yet. There will
No.
not be a preseason game for at least another month.
Okay.
Teams really haven't even gathered for any just like walkthroughs or anything like that. So pretty much they're in a limbo status right now, waiting for preseason to start.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of more money, ESPN finally reached a deal with Keyshawn Johnson. As you know, there was a premature announcement. We do know that Skip Bayless did reveal that Johnson, who was still under contract with ESPN at the time, that he would not be joining him on FS1's Undisputed. So we'll see. The article, which I'm going to go ahead and put it on, it's from MSN, and I'll put it in the chat room if everyone would like to go ahead and take a look at it. I'm going to send it to the co-host, the Big Dog. ESPN has reached a buyout decision with Keyshawn Johnson following a recent announcement from Skip Bayless revealing the former NFL wide receiver will be joining him on FS1's Undisputed. So I messed up the narrative. Skip's revelation was a bit premature as Johnson was still under contract with ESPN. However, that is no more, as Andrew Mershon has reported that the ex-Pro Bowler has agreed to a settlement over his $18 million contract with the worldwide leader in sports after long, arduous negotiations. Johnson, a Super Bowl champion with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who made 3 Pro Bowls, was one of several high-profile staffers let go by ESPN at the end of June. But the network still controlled his rights as he had signed a 5-year deal worth the aforementioned sum the previous year. So on August 25th, around midday, that's when Mershon tweeted on X. I don't know what they call it. I think they still call it tweet, but I don't know. And Mershon, who I believe works with the Post, confirmed that they have learned that. So, wow.
Now, question to you, Scorekeeper. If you're ESPN, are you vindictive and say, once Skip said, hey, he's going to be joining me on my new on the show, he's replacing what's his face? Would you guys have been if you were ESPN? Would you have been vindictive and say, you're under contract for another 4 years? I'll pay you to sit at home. You're not going on another show.
No, I would have said,
No?
all right, you don't want to be here? Leave. So it looks like Almighty is having technical issues, and I do apologize, folks. It looks like he's trying to get back in, and something's going on with StreamYard. I wonder if it was like what happened 2 weeks ago. So hopefully it's not. Big Dog, I'm too old to be vindictive. I'm too old. If I was maybe in my 30s, I'm going to be around for a while, maybe.
Well, don't forget though, you're a multi-billion-dollar company though that's in charge of these people, and all of a sudden the guy that is still under your contract, even if he's not on TV with you at the moment, he's still under contract for 4 more years, and you find out, oh, he's already gotten a job lined up somewhere else, and he's still under contract. So you would still say, yeah, you don't want to be here, go ahead and go.
Now, if it turns out that he had the contract signed, then that's totally different, which I don't know if we're going to find out more news on that. Did you hear anything about that? Whether the deal was done prior?
No, because I don't like Skip Bayless, and I really don't like Marshawn, so I couldn't care less.
Yeah. So, yeah. We'll see. I did like listening to Keyshawn Johnson, his commentary. It was good for someone who played the game, well-spoken, knew what was going on. I'm not going to watch him on FS1, especially with Skip Bayless, but I did appreciate his commentary. His insight was really good. So good luck, Mr. Johnson, and I hope you do well. So we'll see. All right. Anything you want to get to now, Big Dog? Any other story? And folks in the chat room, if you have anything. Sorry, Big Dog.
No, not really. Nothing's really going on in basketball at the moment. Of course, we're waiting for football to start up, which starts up next Thursday, which will be great. Any big baseball news?
There is a little bit. I'll get to it in a few moments. I was going to pivot, folks. This is not a political commentary, but I do want to say that it looks like Tom Brady and the former president of the United States, number 45, have the exact same body. Tom Brady weighs 215, and it looks like the former president, as reported, weighs 215. So,
I thought that he had to put his actual weight.
yes, he does. That's what everyone's talking about. It's like he doesn't weigh 215. That guy is twice my size, and I weigh 222. Cut it out, people. Cut it out.
I put him at about 260 or so.
I was going to say he's closer to 300 when you look at 250. So that's a big zone for me. I'm thinking he's closer to 300 than he is to 200. So, who, the Yankees? Is that who you're talking about? Last time they sucked this bat was 1995? Actually, no. No, the Yankees actually made the playoffs that year. That was the year that they had a lot of injuries. I remember it very well. It was right after the cancellation of the playoffs. The wild card had just come in. And I remember having to bite my lip all year because they were hurt. And then they got healthy and they made the playoff run. No. And they were very good in 94. That's when they had the alleged dream team. But Major League Baseball ended the Montreal Expos and the Yankee season in August. So, no. The Yankees were not good in 89, 90, 91, 92. They started to get dangerous in 93. Yeah, 1992, whatever. And that is fair. But in 95, they lost in the playoffs. They were up 2-0. And Seattle, oh my God, Edgar Martinez went 12 for 20 in that series. And Ken Griffey Jr. hit 5 home runs in that series. Unreal, man. Unreal. And Seattle beat the Yankees. And good for them. They went to the championship game, and see, how many World Series appearances do they have? Yeah, okay. Anyway, that was a good team that Seattle had, but they lost in the championship round. So
back to 45. I amend my weight amount. I say yes, he is either at 300 or over. I did not know he was that tall.
Dude,
I always thought he was about 5'9", 5'10". He's 6'3".
Yeah.
So yes, I can see 300 easily. Maybe it was 315, and they heard wrong.
Maybe. That's funny. Number 11, Martin. Yeah, love me some Edgar. Yes, that guy was have bat, will travel, and he lit up the American League. He was a good hitter. He was, and because of the DH, he was able to hang around because he was all right out in the field, but he was very dangerous as a DH. And I acknowledge that. He lit us up, man. 12 for 20 in that wild card round. Jeez. And like I said, then Griffey hit 5 home runs in that series. Hijos de su madre. I don't think there's any question on his height because he is relatively tall, 6'3". And there are some jokes about it, but yeah, it's the weight that they're talking about. Folks, I'm slimmer than him, and I weigh 221. Cut it out. Cut it out. So I remember people got mad at me when he was in his final year in 2020, and I saw a picture of him. Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen. He ballooned. And I said, wow, that guy, he is big. And there were a lot of people, well, he's under the pressure of this. It hasn't happened to the other presidents. Didn't see them gain weight like that. But
well, it's not that he. When it was scorekeeper, and no one really knows about it, but the truth is, he didn't balloon up. What it was is he wasn't wearing the girdle that day. So that's the reason why.
All right. Yeah. I did see it. Look, folks, I guess I will make a political commentary. As far as I'm concerned, I have 2 opinions on it. I'm only going to share one. It is a sad day when a former president has his mugshot. That's the only sympathy I'm going to give him. He is innocent until proven guilty, and I think they should have a quick trial. That's my opinion. So, it wasn't worried. Is spandex. That's funny. I like it. Coffee says, I believe T-Mobile Park is on Edgar Martinez Drive. Oh my God. I think it is. Yes, I think it is. Yes. Which I think that's the one on the south that leads to the freeway. So, well, it has a history. So it's all good. Like I say, I'm just disappointed that it's come to that, but I'm relieved that the legal process is moving forward. So we're okay. All right. In Major League Baseball, I don't know if we've had any real major breaking stories. Go ahead, Big Dog.
Quick political question back to you. If he postpones or gets them to start the trial in, say, late 2024 after the elections, and by some idiotic miracle he is reelected or elected again, they can't for the next 4 years try him. Am I not correct? Because you can't do anything, any trials on a sitting president. Doesn't have to be after their presidency is over.
Well, that's a very good question. A lot of people are talking about that. I don't have the answer for you right now, but I do know that while he is president, what is it? Not criminal, civil trial may continue. That happened under
Okay.
Clinton, and it also happened under number 45 as well.
Okay.
Yes, there are currently 4 indictments, and one of them looks to start as early as October. Several in March, and one in January. So yeah, it's gonna move fast. And folks, there's 2 more indictments coming. So it looks like the Arizona one very quietly is moving forward. So I don't know if that's the next one, but Arizona very quietly. And I see that one happening probably within the next 4 to 5 months. So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. So fair enough, Big Dog. I don't have an answer to that. There are smarter people when it comes to that, and I'll ask them over this week, and I'll see if I can have an answer for you. But I would say that it may continue because it's already in process. This will be something new, and it will go to the Supreme Court to determine. So
The state Supreme Court or
the U.S. Supreme Court. And
even on the Georgia one, because Georgia is a state indictment, not a federal.
It'll eventually go because whatever the state Supreme Court does, they'll appeal it to the federal level, almost
Okay.
undoubtedly, and they will because of the ramifications on this. We're going to see a lot more legal stuff going on, and it's crazy, folks. It is. My World Cup started early, so it's always every presidential year is my World Cup, but we'll see. All right. Major League Baseball has a free preview right now, 21 years of being on television. You guys can check it out. As you know, I do have Major League Baseball TV. I love it. I think it's great. There's a preview that is starting up. Celebrating the 21 years of streaming live baseball, you can catch many of Saturday's games as part of a free preview. Since the first game streamed live on Major League Baseball TV in 2002, more than 100,000 games have been watched by baseball fans around the world. And if you don't already subscribe, now is a great time to do it. Of the 15 games scheduled for Saturday, 12 are available to stream for free as part of the special preview. Of course, blackout and other restrictions apply. Those include some marquee matchups you don't want to miss, etc., etc., etc. But it's free. And as I've told everyone, every day there is one game that is always free on Major League Baseball TV. Now, it may not be on Friday anymore due to the Apple deal, but almost every day there's at least one game free on Major League Baseball. Kind of cool.
Scorekeeper. What
Big dog.
pitch is this? What pitch is this? Oh shit, went up. Hold on.
Golly.
Golly gee whiz. Damn it. I'll
Oh,
have to find
damn
it
it.
again.
I thought you were going to go with Golly Gee Willikers.
Oh, no, I'm not white. Okay, here we go. See if I can get it to stay this time. What pitch is that?
I really can't see it.
There we go.
It's like it's shining on the hand. I really can't see it. No, there's no way. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, who is the pitcher?
Fuck, I don't know. It's just a picture of a pitcher, and I was just the way his arm was kind of turned sideways, the kind of like that. I was just wondering what kind of pitch that was.
Based on what you see right there, is his arm turned like this? Is it turned like this, or is it turning like this?
Do the first one again.
If it's going clockwise, it could be a curveball, it could be a breaking ball, it could be a slider. This is the screwball when it's turned like that. It also could be a knuckle curve. When you turn in, it's actually abnormal, and that's one of the pitches, a screwball. Now,
well, the elbow is up like the way you had it right now. The elbow is up, but the hand is not the same. The hand is more turned down.
Okay, it's probably the release point. It could be a curveball.
I should just.
Yeah. But then, folks, they also have this, what they're calling the slurve right now, which is a version of a slider. Yeah, without knowing the picture, I wouldn't be able to tell you. And I just couldn't see the image. It was shiny, like the top of my head.
I just sent it to you.
Ooh.
So then you could see, hopefully.
Did you send it via text or via Facebook?
Text. Facebook isn't reliable when you send pictures.
It's like that, and he has his fingers up a little bit. So
yeah, and I was looking at the way his elbow was. That's what got me, because his elbow was kind of pointed up. So that's why I was wondering.
I don't. Oh, here's a baseball right now. So it could be a changeup. I think it's more of a changeup because he has his fingers close, and then he has these close over here. It could be a changeup, and I don't know if people throw their curveball that way, because a curveball is these two fingers here where you flick it. You're doing that motion. So you're using the seams to flick. And right there, it could be a slurve or it could be a changeup. Yeah. That looks like the pitcher that was with the Mets that went to Texas. The guy that was with the Dodgers. So, yeah. It could be a changeup. It could be a slurve. But it looks more to be a changeup to me. Because when you're holding the ball, see, a fastball, you want to get a good grip. And if you want to delay it, you're like palming it. That's a change of speed, or you get movement on it. So when when he's holding it like that, that is more like a changeup or a curveball. So it's not a fastball by any means whatsoever. That's a good pick. See, I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, look, you see, that's what I was seeing. See, that's why I couldn't see it clearly. So, but that's okay. I know, Coffee. I know. Look, every few years they come up with a new name, and it's what they're calling it right now. As I said earlier, a slurve, it's their version of a sweeping slider. When you think of what a slider does, the slurve is a slider. But these kids want to put their mark on something, and they're calling it a slurve instead of a slider. Slider is becoming one of the more effective pitches in Major League Baseball right now, because what the slider is supposed to do, it's a changeup from a fastball. See, the fastball comes in hard, and the slider is exactly that. It slides down, but it looks like a fastball. Now, what they're doing with the slurve is it's a sweeping, not necessarily sidearm movement, but it sweeps in and then goes out over the plate on a right-handed batter. So I never threw a slurve. I never had a fastball to throw a slurve. I mean, what's the point? If I threw a slider, it was just I never threw a slider. Never did. I threw a knuckle curve. I threw a screwball, changeup, a sinker. But again, I used to joke, why do I have a changeup? I don't throw very hard. But I did have a forkball for a little while. And for several years, my fingers were really apart because I would sit in class doing this. And my fingers were apart for a long time. You could clearly see it. But that was a long time ago. That was in high school and a little bit after that. Scherzer, yes, Coffee. That's the one. They've lost 8 in a row. Wow.
Yep.
As I mentioned earlier before everyone came in, the Yankees were just short of, for the first time ever, losing 10 in a row. They've never done that. But they lost 9 in a row. Whoa.
They won one. They're 2-8 now.
Well, like I said, I think they won 2 games in August, which is good for them.
And they have a 0.4% chance of making playoffs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm holding out hope.
Better chances than the Angels. They have 0.1% chance.
I mean, they're still technically in it. And look, you can have a major collapse, but I just don't see it. Yes, they have fallen off Severino. He will not return with the Yankees. He's done. That guy, he's had flashes of brilliance, but he's done. And actually, the Yankees are going to be getting rid of, they're going to be doing some house cleaning. As a matter of fact, Brian Cashman this week did elude that there's going to be some changes, but he was referring to the executive staff from him down. So in other words, he's here. Everyone underneath him is on the chopping block. Yeah, that hideous Stanton contract. When he's healthy, but it's a question of when is he healthy now?
Is there a chance that Cashman is on the chopping block?
I don't know. I don't think so because he was just signed to an extension this offseason. So I don't think they're going to get rid of him yet. As far as executive, Cashman is a good executive. But actually, with all the issues that have been happening with the team, I don't know. Actually, I'm going to have to amend my statement. They might get rid of him because of all the things that have been happening with the Yankees, especially when the pitcher blew up in the dugout, threw furniture, confronted the manager, and wow.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Yeah. And the cheating on the team. He might be gone, but I don't see it happening. If you just want my opinion, I don't see it happening. Now, there was news on Steven Strasburg and why he retired. Ladies and gentlemen, the great white hope is no more. Everyone was saying that this guy was going to be the next best thing, the next greatest pitcher. His numbers speak for themselves. Is he a Hall of Famer? I'll have to take a look at his numbers. I don't see it, but the Washington Nationals starting pitcher Steven Strasburg is expected to retire from baseball thanks to a series of injuries that derailed his career. An announcement is expected on September 9th. Strasburg, who was a former number 1 overall pick for the franchise and a World Series MVP, has made just 8 starts since the end of the 2019 season. When healthy, he was one of the most When healthy, he was a dominant pitcher. I'm going to amend that statement. Longtime teammate Ryan Zimmerman told the Associated Press, "You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who worked harder than he did." Okay. All right. This is when the guys are saying, oh, his ERA is 4, but did you know that his WAR is this? When you have to make up other stuff, folks, look, Just talk about his numbers, talk about what he did, and so be it. Yeah, he worked harder than everyone. Unfortunately, it didn't show in the field in his later years. So he says you would be hard pressed to find someone who worked harder than he did. He deserved to be celebrated because he was a pretty special player. You could argue that he lived up to or even exceeded what was expected of a number one pick. I cannot argue that. He was number one pick. He had the weight of the world because he was number one pick. And did he pitch? At times he did pitch very, very well. So I would not argue that with Mr. Zimmerman. Strasburg had surgery for thoracic outlet syndrome, which involved removing a rib and 2 neck muscles. His
Damn.
recovery was a brutal one and will continue into his post-playing career. Per the Washington Post, Strasburg, quote, has struggled with mundane tasks, such as lifting his young daughters or opening a door with his right hand because of severe nerve damage. See, folks, I can sympathize with Mr. Strasburg. I'm having that as well. And
Well,
I
I would
never
assume
played.
I would assume you have trouble lifting your daughters. They're in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah, I can't do that. Yep. So, despite having his career cut short, Strasburg set the Nationals' strikeout record and for the most part lived up to the type of being a number one overall pick. Yes. The hype surrounding Strasburg's eventually call-up was immeasurable. And I remember, and I saw that game like many in baseball did. To be the type of prospect that he was in an age where everyone gets hyped up so much. Yeah, the very same people that are writing this article are the very same ones that are hyping him up. And him being the next phenom, and then to actually do that in this first start. If I remember, he pitched 6 innings in his first start. I think he either gave up 2 runs or 3 runs. Look, he did well for a first-round pick. He delivered. So, yeah, they're on the hook for a lot of money with Strasburg. Nats foolishly didn't insure that contract. Oh, my God, they didn't? So, from 20 to 26, annually $80 million. Or, I'm sorry, from 20 to 26, yeah. It's $11,428,571.43. Thank you, Coffee. Is deferred with 1% interest. So it's a $35 million deal. They're deferring 11 million of the 35. Wow. 1% interest. Yeah. This is not the Bobby Bonilla 8% interest. Payable in equal installments of 26,666,000 on July 1st, 2027, 2028, and 2029, plus interest payment of 3,909,974 on 12/31/29. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That's crazy. They didn't insure it. I didn't know that. Wow.
So how and only because this happened to pop up just right now on Instagram. How would you compare him to Greg Maddux?
Not even close. Greg Maddux was unreal. Greg Maddux maybe through 91, 92 at his best. The guy had 4 pitches, pinpoint control, miserable. Folks, when you have a reliever that throws 2 pitches, there's a damn good chance he can, you can light him up. A starter needs 3 pitches to be effective. He had 4, and the reality is he probably had more than that. He was an artist. He was a student of the game. Greg Maddux, yeah.
I'm gonna give Scorekeeper a little Woody right now because I have a bunch of Greg Maddux stats, and these should excite Scorekeeper. So, in 1997, Greg Maddux threw a 78-pitch complete game. This is 4 innings to most current starting pitchers.
Yep.
In a 78-pitch game, he threw 63 strikes and only 15 balls.
Yep.
Greg Maddux threw 109 complete games through his career. 26 of those games were done in under 100 pitches.
And those were both wins and losses.
Greg Maddux has faced in his career 20,421 batters. Of those 20,421 batters, only 133 batters saw a 3-0 count. Greg Maddux has 25 years ago. Well, this was dated August 15th. It says 25 years ago today, Greg Maddux won his 4th straight Cy Young Award. Over those 4 seasons, he pitched more complete games, 37, than home runs allowed, 33. This is a fun one that you'll like. It says, when Greg Maddux broke Jim Katz's record for Gold Gloves, Kat told him, the only record I have now is the oldest pitcher to steal a base. So later on that season, Maddux stole a base and immediately called Kat from the dugout to let him know. And of course, the last one was the prank, and I believe Scorekeeper knows about this prank. Greg Maddux pranked Chris Bryant by dressing up as an audio guy who was asked to sub in throwing batting practice, and absolutely carved Bryant up with curveballs the entire time.
That's funny. I don't recall that. You probably did.
I remember seeing the video of that.
And I went to go see. I may have seen that one. Yeah. Now, folks, Greg Maddux is a Hall of Famer, clearly. And I am having connectivity issues, so hopefully I don't drop out. But if there's issue, folks, let me know. But yes, Coffee, I agree. The Braves of the 90s with those 4 pitchers, well, 3 most of the time, but 4 pitchers, they pounded the strike zone. That's what you do. And Maddux was. And I appreciate that comment, Coffee, which I just showed a moment ago. Everyone can tell you that Maddux was a chore to face. But there was one guy that looked like he appreciated batting against Maddux or enjoyed it. Now, this goes back to 2014, and it's Greg Maddux once had an awesome Tony Gwynn joke or quote. Of course, this was on June 16, 2014. The baseball world was mourning the passing of one of its most beloved players on Monday. The San Diego Padres legend Tony Gwynn lost his battle with cancer at age 54. I'm 54. Oof. Hall of Famer and 15-time All-Star is one of the greatest pure hitters to ever play the game. Greg Maddux got to see that firsthand. In fact, Maddux saw Gwynn more than anyone. The former Atlanta Braves hurler faced Gwynn 107 times during their overlapping Hall of Fame careers. Maddux didn't strike Gwynn out a single time. Not once. And Maddux knew it. On Monday, back in 2014, ESPN's Ethan Strauss reminded us about a fantastic quote that Maddux once had about Gwynn that summed up his sensational career. The right-hander was discussing how changing speeds and having control are far more important than velocity. Yes, because no hitter can tell the exact speed of a pitch. Well, except one. You just can't do it, Maddux said. Sometimes hitters can pick up differences in spin. They can identify pitches if there are different release points or if a curveball starts with an upward hump as it leaves the pitcher's hand. But if a pitcher can change speeds, every hitter is helpless, limited by human vision. Except for that expletive Tony Gwynn. If that's not respect, I don't know what is. Gwynn struck out 434 times in 10,232 plate appearances.
Yep.
Yeah, you read that right. He struck out 15 times during the entire 95 season, a year in which he batted .368. The season came in the middle of a 5-year stretch where he batted .369. Yeah. He was that good. And Maddux summed it up perfectly. There's an incredible stat of Tony Gwynn versus Maddux, Glavine, and Smoltz, and someone else. And I think all 3 or 4 struck out like 3 times.
It was Maddux, it says Pedro, so I'm assuming Pedro Martinez.
Sorry, yes, Pedro Martinez.
Galvin and Smoltz, a combined 323 times, and of those 323, he only struck out 3 times.
And in Maddux, none. I don't think Smoltz got him either. So, yes, that's crazy, folks.
Tony Gwynn was something else.
The image that I have of Tony Gwynn is going to go see him play, and that rat bastard would come up and double down the line to left field. He'd always burn the Dodgers, man. Uh, I went to a game that was delayed. It was supposed to be on either Tuesday or Wednesday of the week of 9/11, and obviously baseball was canceled, so they extended the season by a week to make up those games. And we had that ticket. I think I still have that ticket somewhere. But Tony Gwynn came up in that game in the 8th or ninth inning, and sure enough, even Dodger Stadium was cheering when he got the double down the line. It was like, wow, that's crazy. Dodger fans acknowledge when there's a good player. So Coffee says, if you look at hitters with over 20 bats against Maddox, the best hitter against him was, of all people, Junior Spivey. Yeah. Dude, there are some guys that you just cannot get out. And there are some guys that they're just red meat when you go up. Yeah, it's crazy. So, yes, Greg Maddox. Yeah, dude.
So I have a Tony Gwynn stat, and this was dated March 10th. So I guess it would have been at the end of last season, or anyways, it says National League strikeout leader Kyle Schwarber had 200 strikeouts. American League strikeout leader was Eugenio Suarez with 196 strikeouts. Times Tony Gwynn struck out during the entire decade of the 90s, 188. For the entire freaking decade.
Yeah. Yeah, Bib Roberts. I remember Bib Roberts. Yep, 471. Some guys do, folks. Some guys do. In 1994, that we talked about earlier, when Major League Baseball cut it, Tony Gwynn ended the season at 394, the closest anyone came to hitting 400 since Ted Williams did so.
And I still say and will say to my grave, had the strike not happened, I believe Tony Gwynn in my heart would have hit 400.
In the second half of that year, he hit 423 with a 472 on base and a 613 slugging. So remember, when you look at the diamond, a slugging percentage of 250 is first base, so singles. A slugging percentage of 500 is second base, doubles. 750 is third base. And obviously 1,000 slugging is you got 4 bases. That's the way it works. He had a 613 slugging. I mean, he had alley power, doubles, of course. I think he has the Padres record in doubles. So Gwynn struck out 3 times in a game, only once. And Big Dog will be surprised when I tell him who it was. So I'll give you a hint. He was a Dodger. And it happened in 1986.
Seattle or Oakland?
No, it was a Dodger.
Oh, okay.
Dodger pitcher.
Oh, so it was against the Dodgers. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
86?
Yep.
Hershiser?
Bob Welch.
Oh, okay. I like Bob Welch.
Welch could bring it. He was older.
Yes.
But that was just a good pitcher taking on a excellent hit. Including postseason play, Gwynn faced 18 Hall of Fame pitchers for a total of 541 plate appearances. That's essentially a full season's worth of plate appearances exclusively against Hall of Famers. And Gwynn batted 331, 371, and 426. Gosh. That was amazing. Yeah, Gwynn was something else. And I'm glad Big Dog and I had the privilege of seeing him a few times. Yep.
How did you like him as an outfielder?
He was actually all right. He had a good
arm. He wasn't bad.
Yeah, he had an accurate arm. He was a little tubby. There's no doubt about it. But
for his size, he was actually had decent speed.
He had
for
good
his
wheels,
size.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And he was a good glove. Yes. Just, yeah.
But hey,
In the
when you're
past,
when you're flirting with 400 almost every year, coaches aren't going to complain about the way you look if that's the way you
now
hit every year.
in an age in 2007, Gwynn was inducted into the Hall of Fame after receiving 532 of 545. Who did not vote for him?
Padre haters.
If there should have been a 100%, it should have been Tony Gwynn.
Who's been 100% that you know of?
Mariano Rivera.
Has that been it?
I don't think Jeter got in on 100%. He was very high though. No, I, because I think what was the thing with Mariano Rivera? I don't know if anyone's had 100% other than Mariano Rivera.
Yeah.
Coffee, need a little bit of help on that. Okay, here we go. I may have found it. Highest voting percentages. Mariano Rivera, 100%. Oh yeah, Derek Jeter, 396 of 397.
It was a Boston reporter, I bet you.
Probably. Ken Griffey, 437 of 440, 99.3. Tom Seaver, Tom Terrific, 98.8, 425 of 430. Nolan Ryan, 98.8, 491, 497. Six voters left Ryan off their Hall of Fame bet. Yeah. Hey, dude, look, it is what it is. I know.
What was that about? What was that about Nolan Ryan? I forgot. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
6 voters left Ryan off their Hall of Fame ballot.
And I bet you their reasoning was because of his record.
He won 300 games, but he lost. I think it was close to 300.
Yeah.
But that's because he was out there for so many damn complete games. Cal Ripken Jr.
Is Nolan Ryan does he belong in the Hall of Fame, Nolan Ryan, in your opinion?
Yeah. Because of his, not only that he was there for the longest time, but he was so effective to the very end. He was effectively wild, but I wouldn't call him great. Appreciate that, Coffee. I don't understand how Ripken did not get 100%. He got 537 to 545. Ty Cobb, 98.2 at 222 of 226. Yeah, I could see that. He was hated by people, but still, that's incredibly high. George Brett, 98.2, 488 of 497. And Hank Aaron, come on, folks, 406 of 415, 97.8. And Tony Gwynn, 97.6, 532 of 545. Unbelievable. Randy Johnson, 97.3. Maddox, 97.2. Chipper Jones, 97.2. Mike Schmidt, 96.5. Johnny Bench, 96.4. Steve Carlton, 95.6. He would have had a higher percentage, but a lot of people disliked Steve Carlton. Babe Ruth, 95.1. Honus Wagner, 95.1. Ricky Henderson, 94.8. Willie Mays, 94.7. And it just goes on and on and on. Yeah. Wow. That was incredible. Folks, we're now in our third hour here on Sports Talk with the Guys, home of the Monday Morning Quarterbacks on Saturday. It's 8:15 a.m. It's August 26, 2023. And we need a little bit of help, folks. You can tell I'm starting to labor. As I mentioned at the very beginning of the program, I was not feeling well, and I'm starting to labor right now.
Here's a great Nolan Ryan fact for you, scorekeeper.
Yeah.
7 players who have been struck out by Nolan Ryan had sons who grew up, got into Major League Baseball, and got struck out by Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I don't have the names. That was just a stat. I'm trying to look for one.
Big Dog, take over real quick. I need to step back here. I'm an hour late on my pharmaceuticals.
On your drugs. All right, guys. Since it looks like Speedy's not going to be here, we had 2 big deaths in the wrestling world this week. First was Terry Funk, who died at the age of 79. wrestling legend. He wrestled for over 50 years, held pretty much every single title or championship outside of WWE because he didn't join WWE until he late in life or late in his wrestling career, excuse me. And was probably the father of hardcore wrestling that he brought over probably from Japan. Wrestled all over the world, was beloved all over the world. And as I said, he died earlier this week. I believe it was Wednesday, maybe Tuesday. He was 79. He died of dementia or had dementia, which probably was a cause of that. He, from what I read, he did die at home. But the wrestling world was shocked by that one. And yes, he was in Roadhouse, and he was also in that one with Stallone. I think Over the Top, the arm wrestling one. Oh yeah, definitely. Mick Foley and Terry Funk were the best of friends. It was Mick Foley that broke the news. He got a call from Terry Funk's daughter, who gave Foley permission to let the world know that Terry Funk had passed away. And then, of course, not just 2 days later, was the shocking news that Wyndham Rotundo, otherwise known as Bray Wyatt in WWE, had suddenly passed away. And it wasn't known for a few hours, probably about a good 6-7 hours later, that the family gave the reason of his death, which was he had a heart attack, which was brought on from COVID complications. He had evidently gotten COVID in February and did not come back from it very strong, and was having problems and had heart problems because of that. And Thursday, he had a heart attack Thursday morning, and they couldn't revive him, so he passed away. He was just 36 years old.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that.
4 children, 2 very small. I believe his youngest were probably maybe 3 and 1, and then he had two children from a previous relationship, from his wife, ex-wife, excuse me. And the wrestling world was shocked by it. Now, of course, Wyndham Rotunda was a 3rd-generation wrestler. His dad, for the people that watched WWE or WWF in the 80s, his dad was, of course, Irwin R. Shyster, IRS, Mike Rotundo, multiple tag team champion, and of course, best friends with his tag team partner. So that was a shock to everyone. They did a nice thing on SmackDown where they did the 10 bell salute, and the thing, well, when I read that SmackDown was going to be doing a tribute show to him, I thought it was going to be more kind of like the past ones when they did it for Benoit and they did it for Eddie Guerrero, where they actually had people come on and talk behind the scenes, and say what they were feeling. But instead, they just did little vignettes of Bray Wyatt and what he's done throughout the years, and they had Twitter posts of what people were saying instead of having someone actually say something. So I was kind of disappointed in that. It was a nice gesture that they were going to do it, but the fact that no one really talked like the way they did in the previous shows when they did memorial shows, this one just felt like they still wanted to push the wrestling aspect of it. They still had a full slate of wrestling in their 2-hour show, and just in between, instead of having a backstage vignette or the next pay-per-view promo, they just showed Twitter posts from different people. So I think it was Vince, personally, Jay, engineer. And having the tribute show, I think was Triple H's idea because he does care about the wrestlers. But I think, of course, since Vince has the final say, Vince was like, we're not gonna, do the whole thing like we did before. It takes up too much time. And that's just my opinion, just from the way Vince has acted in past years, where all he cares about is the bottom line. So, um,
So much for the kids receiving a paid college education from Vince.
the one thing I will say is WWE, and it would have been okay by Vince. So I applaud Vince for this, but they said any Bray Wyatt shirts or any merchandise pertaining to Bray Wyatt or the character, the Fiend, all monies are going to be going to the Rotunda family. So I will give him that, that he's giving all the money to them, which will help somewhat, but
Somewhat.
I actually went a little crazy on Facebook yesterday because someone there was a post, they had already made up a bootleg shirt of Bray Wyatt, and it had a picture of John Cena. You could tell it was photoshopped. John Cena holding up the shirt, supposedly saying that John Cena is endorsing the shirt. So every person on there that bought a shirt, I told them it's a bootleg copy and you're taking money away from the kids. Because if you would have bought it on WWE.com, those monies would go to the family. This is a bootleg. That company's not going to give any money to the kids or to the Rotunda family. But, that's just, I saw. Was that on Facebook, Jay, that you saw it? And it's the one him holding it up? Yeah. You could tell it's a Photoshop. They do that a lot with bootleg shirts. They'll get a star, or like for me, that I love the Eagles. They always have like an Eagles band member holding up like a 50th anniversary shirt, but you could tell it's photoshopped. And they do that with all of them. Robert Downey Jr. holding up an Avengers shirt, Henry Cavill holding up a Superman shirt or a Justice League shirt. It's just companies that pop up and they Photoshop, they get their employee to hold it up, the shirt, and then they Photoshop the actor or musician or whoever in the picture, and it makes it look like they're endorsing it, and then they sell it for $30-40 a pop until they get caught, and then you never see them again.
But with respect to you, Jay and Big Dog, the mugshots that we saw this week were not photoshopped. Sorry.
Of the petulant 5-year-old?
Yeah, Jay's not commenting about that yet. Wow and wow. Oh, man.
Does Jay like 45?
I don't know. We never discussed it. Yeah, there you go. I think you might have your answer right there. Folks, following up very quickly to the question that Big Dog asked, Trout did return last week for one day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was still hurting, and he's out. So, no, I don't know, Jay. We didn't ask that. He asked if you like 45. We don't mention the individual by name. That is in the presidential succession, the number 45.
51.
Yeah.
That's not for a while. That's at least, 16, 18 years away?
No, for
20
him.
years?
He's a young pup. I also thought that he was, yes, as he's been known. As a matter of fact, I thought Jay was taller than me, and I thought he was older than me. And when I told him the other day, you're younger and you're shorter. This changes everything. And Jay's like, yeah, whatever, dude. Whatever.
How tall is he?
I think Jay is 5'10". So
okay.
He's still pretty tall, but yeah. So I couldn't. Jay, do you remember Nick, who worked in our office? He's like 6'2", 6'3", that kid. Oh, not into 45. That's funny. Nick was, I think, 6'2" or something. He was much taller. And I stupidly said, "So what'd you play? What was your position in basketball?" He's like, "I'm a professional. I was varsity tennis." You're varsity tennis?
The white
Okay,
guy?
Nick. Huh?
Was he a white guy?
No.
Oh, okay.
And
That
that's why I'm
surprised me.
telling Jay. He knows who it is. And I was like, varsity tennis. And when we'll go out to lunch, he was always complaining about his knees. I'm like, dude, you played varsity tennis. Don't start about your knees. Yeah, Jay knows. Jay knows exactly what I'm talking about. And Jay, he did not know who Arthur Ashe was. I
How
had
can he
it.
be how can he be a tennis player and not know who Arthur Ashe is?
I went on to explain to him. I said, Arthur Ashe, you better look him up, dude. If you want the definition of dignity, it's Arthur Ashe. And I let it go. He read up on him and he was like, oh. So, that's why when ESPN gave the Arthur Ashe Award to
Yes,
that
they
individual,
they soiled the Arthur Ashe Award by giving that individual,
and that
especially who he was up against that year. That girl with the brain tumor who should have gotten it. But
she was
that's
going to
neither
die, guys.
that's neither here nor there,
And
I
she
guess.
was still working hard to raise money for that unique and rare form of brain cancer that she had, because she said, even though they will not find the cure for me, they will eventually, and I'm working towards that. You want courage? That's courage.
Where would you put
I
Arthur
know.
Ashe? Oh,
Wait,
that's
what's
just what I
that?
was gonna say. Where would you put him on the greatest of all time?
I'm not an expert in tennis. Jay knows a little bit more than me, but
I
he is easily in the top 10.
I would
Easily.
definitely say top 10, definitely. Because I mean, you have all these, you have Bjorn Borg, you have uh, Jimmy Connors, you have McEnroe,
Yeah.
and what's his name? The one that won all the titles over this past decade, just not too long ago, that he just
Oh,
retired.
Jay knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah, I'm getting a little old. I don't remember those guys. I don't remember his name. He's really good. I'm sorry, folks. Getting old. So, yes, Pete Sampras.
Yeah, Sampras also, but I believe he was a French guy. He won all the titles. He was always going up against Sampras.
Oh, yeah, I think I know who it is,
Yeah,
but
I can't think of
my
his name.
memory's gone. So go
But
figure.
it's the thing with that though is it's generational because how many kids now? I mean, as far as basketball is concerned, how many kids they don't even know who or how great Michael Jordan was on the court.
Okay,
They
that
don't know him
is
by the
pure
shoes.
ignorance.
And even more so, no one knows how great Kareem was, who I consider the best of all time.
If they don't see it on video or the internet, it didn't happen. They don't have that intellectual curiosity to look it up, to have those
Yeah.
conversations. They don't, and it's the really sad thing. And that's what we do here, is remind everyone that we were privileged. Now, folks, there are a lot of people that we don't talk about, but we acknowledge their numbers. We know, and they're in these conversations. But
Oh, here's one that you're gonna love, Scorekeeper. Uh, Over the past 3, 4, maybe 5 months now. Uh,
Federer, go ahead.
yes, there we go, Federer. Um, a lot of the Gen Zers have come to the conclusion now
That they're
that
stupid.
Steph Curry is the greatest point guard of all time.
Well,
We all know who it is.
I have no one to say. I mean, dude, there are 3 phenomenal point guards in the instant conversation. As much as we dislike him, Mr. Stockton is in that conversation.
Dirtiest player ever, yes.
Magic Johnson is in that conversation.
The best point guard ever,
And
period.
who is the third one?
Here's some information.
Siri's talking, huh?
Yeah, she was.
Maybe Nash.
Okay. There you
Who
go.
were you thinking? Who were you thinking as a third person?
No, I don't. That's why I named those two. That's Danny Ainge, far from.
Oh God, no.
I had to
Who
throw it
said
out.
Danny Ainge?
I did. Boston.
Oh God, no.
That's why I said it. And I said Danny Ainge, no.
No, if
Because
you're
it's
gonna
just
go,
practice. Just
if you're gonna
practice.
go, if you're gonna go Boston, then you would go to Cousy, Bob Cousy.
Yeah. Do you know who I did like from that Boston team other than Bird? You know who was a guy? Larry Parrish. Yeah. He was a good player to watch.
Chief.
Yeah, dude, not phenomenal in any way whatsoever. Just damn good player that showed up every day.
You know though,
Oh, Isaiah
you
Thomas.
know, you know who I like though? I like his brother Robert Parrish better.
Him. Yeah, I got it right. Yeah. Same guy. Because I'm thinking of the
Isaiah,
baseball player, Larry Parrish. Yep.
yeah, I figured,
Yeah.
yeah. Isaiah was very good.
I like Robert Parrish. Thank you, Jay. Even he's like, don't be a dumbass, scorekeeper. I'm like, oh, you can't keep me from doing that.
The person I could never speak ill of on the Boston Celtics in the 80s, only one. See, I respected Larry
You
Bird.
acknowledge him.
I expected and acknowledged Larry Bird. I hate with all my heart Kevin McHale.
Yes.
Danny Ainge to me was a whiner. Robert Parrish was a warrior. I give him all his
Oh,
due.
that other guy.
My guy, though, I could never say not one bad word about him. Dennis Johnson.
Yes.
Dennis
Yeah.
Johnson was,
He was good. He was fun to watch.
yep, he was great. He played the game the way it's supposed to be played. He wasn't dirty. He just seemed like an upright guy. I'm funny.
That's why I respected James Worthy, because he would burn everyone and he never ever slam dunk. If he did it, and he did, that's because you did something to him. Yeah, and it was like a dirty play before, because I saw him slam it once and that was it. And it was like, oh shit, something happened. And they had to replay the tape to see. Like, oh yeah, someone messed with him. Because he burned so many people and he never did the slam dunk. Because he wasn't that guy. Yeah. James Worthy was fun to watch, man.
And it would be
Game
interesting
changer.
to how Laker history would have changed had they drafted Dominique like everyone except Jerry West wanted to.
How funny.
Because it was between Terry Cummings, Dominique Wilkins, and James Worthy. And everybody wanted Dominique because of his flash and, you know, his dunking and, you know, this and that. And they said he'd fit great into the Showtime era. And Jerry West put his foot down and said, no, James Worthy. And they said, no, we're going to go Dominique. And he said, if you draft Dominique Wilkins, I will quit the Lakers. Because James Worthy is a guy you need. He will win us championships.
Boy, was he right on him.
Yep, won 3 more with James.
As a GM, he had an eye for talent, man.
Yes.
There were very few misfires with him. Big Dog and I,
Yeah.
when we started this program, I was a dick to Big Dog regularly,
Nah.
especially to you can't teach height, Andrew Bynum. I rode Big Dog mercilessly because I was a dick. Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I liked Andrew Bynum, but it got to the point where I'm like, dude, come on, and it showed with his play. And but as Big Dog was saying, you can't teach height.
That's right. North Carolina.
Yeah,
Teammate of Michael Jordan.
was he really?
Yeah, they were on that same championship team.
Oh, so he
Michael, yes, James was a senior or junior, whatever it was, because I can't remember. I don't think James played all 4 years. But I believe Michael was 1 year under him.
Wow.
But
Oh, okay.
Michael Jordan was not the star of the team. I believe it because remember. Oh, I don't know if you remember, but Sam Perkins was also on that team. So it was Perkins, Worthy, and Jordan. And
I
Jordan was
actually
the number
liked
3
Perkins.
guy. Yeah.
Perkins was a good player. The one that I dislike passionately is the one that got caught up in the shaving scandal in college, and he was with Golden State, I believe, and he was a commentator in the NBA for some time. See, I have no time for cheaters. I have none.
Oh, he played for Sacramento.
Sacramento. Okay. It's all right.
Ah,
Doesn't matter. I know you'll come up with a name in a little bit.
yeah, I probably will.
While Big Dog figures that one out, it was announced within the last day or so that Derek Carr will not traditionally take a few snaps in the final game. As we know, folks, in the NFL, you get the veterans to come in the final game to get a taste of real live action. And apparently, Derek Carr will not be in the game for the Saints. And everyone is saying, well, it's because you don't want the first team that they face in week 6 to get a feel for Derek Carr. So,
Yeah, whatever. It's not like he's a rookie. I mean, everybody knows what he can do.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you saw this, Scorekeeper, but Coffee's being really funny.
I didn't see that one. Yeah, he is. He's being a comedian. Of course, Jay. Of course. It's part of the family. You need to know this, Jay. Yeah,
I mean,
I don't have the
that's a stupid comment. I mean, it would be one thing to say that if he was a rookie, you know, and it was going to be their starting quarterback, but he's been around for all those years. It's not like he's magically going to change his style of play. But I guess, you know, maybe Dream can watch him play a couple of times before he leaves.
Yeah. I wonder what Anime Girl, because she's not here, hasn't been, what her comment on Trey Lance would be since he's a Dallas Cowboy now. So where's Prescott? Dak. Where is Dak at?
Dallas. Well,
And
where else would he be?
Ezekiel Elliott?
Zeke signed with the Patriots, I believe.
Wow.
Remember, he was let go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a shame.
Why? He wasn't doing anything. I would let him go too.
Well, there's rumors coming out of Seattle over a Denver Broncos former teammate. Apparently, Russell Wilson, he endured a tumultuous year with the team last year, finishing with a disappointing record of 4-11. So that means he didn't play every game. That's only 15 games as a starter. As the Broncos seek to optimize the performance of the player for whom they paid a significant price, they brought in Sean Payton as their head coach during the offseason. However, according to a former general manager, this move implies that the quarterback will be under a short leash. During an appearance on Get Up Thursday morning, New York Jets general manager Mike Tannenbaum revealed that if Wilson struggles, Payton could employ it as a means to establish a culture within his new team of holding players accountable. Really? I would be shocked if Russell Wilson was a starter for 17 games this season, and here's why. The conversation that Sean Payton is having with the ownership is about culture and accountability. It's Bill Parcells' approach. He's going to see Russell Wilson as an opportunity to hold players accountable, and then there's a bump in the road. What's going to happen is he's really talking to Jerry Jeudy, Garrett Bowles, and a young nucleus of this team to say, the standard is the standard. And if you bench Russell Wilson, I can bench you. If Wilson were to encounter difficulties this year and end up on Denver's bench, it would be challenging for the team to transition away from him. After his trade from Seattle, Wilson signed a 5-year, $245 million contract extension with the Broncos, which would result in a significant dead cap hit of $85 million if he were to be released.
Broncos country.
But Gridiron Girl doesn't care because she's a Charger fan.
She still cares about the Broncos.
but I'm sure she does. But her team is, it is San Diego. Took me about a year to figure it out. Jay says, bye bye, Russell. Yeah, I guess so.
Where could he go? With
Well,
that
I
type of
don't know
contract?
how it works if he gets released. They have to eat the contract. I wonder if it's similar to Major League Baseball, where the team that picks him up for a minimum, and the Broncos have to trade. They have to pay the salary. Nowhere.
Well, if he gets, I guess there's a difference if he gets released or if he gets bought out, right? Because if he gets bought out, then the contract is null and void, and then he accepted X amount of dollars, and forget about the contract.
I don't know if they have that in the NFL. I don't recall right now,
Okay.
so I wouldn't be able to tell you, because in the NBA they do have that, and
Yes.
Major League Baseball, yeah, but they frown on it. Like, nope, you can insure the contract. That's why when Coffee mentioned to me that his contract was not insured, wow, that's a lot of money. Because what happens, folks, is when a player is out, say he gets hurt either in April or July, he's out. He has to be out an entire year before the insurance kicks in. So if it was 4 years remaining with Strasburg, 2 of those years at 35 million would be picked up by the team, but apparently, or by the insurance company. But it's not going to happen. I did not know that they did not insure it. Wow. Yeah, someone's probably going to be out of a job after that one.
I was going to say, isn't that like an automatic thing? Isn't that just automatically put into the clause of the contract? Not clause. Isn't that automatically put into the contract?
I don't believe it's in the contract, but teams regularly, I know the Yankees do it. I think the Dodgers do it, where they will insure their long-term deals. But I guess not every team does. It's like, wow, that's crazy. That is. All right. So, what else, Big Dog? Because I admit, folks, I'm sorry. I am laboring. I am reaching right now.
Well, yeah, I was going to tell you, you only have me till 9:30 anyways, because it's Mason's birthday party today, so I have to
Congratulations.
get ready for all that.
The young man turns what, 4 or 5?
He turned 3 yesterday, actually. Today's the party. Yesterday, he turned 3.
I'm dumb.
No, you're not.
Wow.
Time flies with us when you're older.
Yeah, no kidding.
It just feels like it's 4, 5, 6 years when it's only actually been like 2 or 3.
Oh, there you go. Coffee says that one of his friends had just signed a 4-year, $9 million deal with the Arizona Coyotes. He suffered a career-ending concussion in training camp. Arizona told him not to retire. Insurance would cover the whole thing. I appreciate that insight, Coffee, regarding hockey, because we didn't mention that.
I'm wondering about that though. Were they telling him not to retire so that Arizona could recoup that money?
Yeah, he's going to get it paid out through the insurance. So at least that team, the Coyotes.
No, I understand that, but I mean, they're not telling him don't retire out of the goodness of their heart. They're telling him don't retire so we can get our money back. We still have to pay you, but we want the insurance to pay us, so don't retire yet. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand that, and it's I'm sorry to hear that he had a career-ending injury like that. But the Coyotes were only telling him don't retire because they want their money.
He has a big family. That's good.
I think we've talked about it before. Football, NFL is the only the major 4 pro sports in America that don't really guarantee their contracts. I mean, they can say it's guaranteed, but it's usually like, say, when they signed a $200 million contract, only $65 million is guaranteed. You know,
Yeah,
whereas the rest,
Marcus Russell, I think he was at 49 or 50% of the big deal that he received. And only, I mean, it's getting to the point where some players are almost at 100% guaranteed money. The NFL has been working
yeah,
its way there.
yeah, the big names. But what I'm saying is, remember that one? What was he, a linebacker? Remember? I think he played for the Redskins
I don't
or
know.
the Chiefs. He signed that $100 million deal, but then the following season he couldn't make the team because he was overweight, so they cut him. And remember that $100 million deal went away because
Yeah,
I think
there
only
are.
yeah, I think only like 10 or 20 million was guaranteed of the 108 or $110 million.
Yeah, and look, failure to perform is a lot different than being hurt. You have
Yeah,
requirements, folks, and yeah, I vaguely remember something about that. Folks, I do want to switch gears a little bit, and I'm sorry, and Big Dog can yank me back on it, but apparently Tim Anderson has apologized, and you can take it for whatever it is, but uh, that was good.
Tim
Move
Anderson
on.
is.
Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson. The Chicago second baseman that got dropped by Jose Ramirez when they stood up,
Yeah,
and Anderson missed him twice or three times, and then Ramirez popped him that one time and knocked him back, and looked stupid. And Tim Anderson, I guess you weren't here for that conversation. Um, okay, the shortstop. He was. This is the guy that years ago accused the Yankee third baseman of being racist because he was calling him Jackie. Because famously, when he was interviewed, he said, "Well, I'm bringing change to this league. I'm going to be a disruptor, just like Jackie Robinson." Hey, if I was against him and he's effing up, I would have said, "Hey, how's it going, Jackie? What's going on, Jackie?" I would have been effing with him too. It's not racist. You went ahead and called yourself, or you compared yourself, your game, to one of the greatest, toughest players to play the game.
and also Jackie wasn't a disruptor.
Yeah, but Jackie was militarily trained. People
True.
didn't pick fights with him because he would end it. Well, actually, no, there were people that picked fights with Jackie, and
Oh
Jackie
yeah.
just kicked the shit out of him. When you're trained to kill, you can drop someone in a few seconds. So, look, I've always made fun of Anderson because of what he does, but he manned up, he apologized, and move on. Hey, you know, uh, too bad. He is a problem child on the team. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But the first good step was apologizing. So I hope Mr. Anderson gets his act together. And Coffee, to answer your question, not 100% certain on that, but I think his did break a record that Mahomes' entire contract was guaranteed. Tim Anderson has one home run in the last year plus baseball. He's awesome. Yeah, I like it, Coffee. Thank you. Yeah. He's certainly a disruptor. So, like I said, glad he
Okay.
apologized. Man up, move
Um,
on.
to answer Coffee's question,
Oh, for Mahomes?
Mahomes Mahomes' salary and workout bonuses are fully guaranteed on the third day of the 2027 league year.
Oh.
So in four
So,
more years.
no.
So in 4 more years.
If he makes it there, and well, you never know, I could see him easily. But,
Okay,
folks,
the way it worked was $63 million guaranteed at the signing, which was a signing bonus plus his 2020 salary, plus his 2021 salary, plus his 2021 roster bonus, plus his 2022 salary and 2022 roster bonus. So he's already gotten that money.
yeah. And I don't think he's ever going to, he doesn't have to give it back.
Oh no. Yeah, because it's already been paid out. So And the lowest paid player is Tyrone Swoops. He's a former Washington football team's. He earned the lowest paid football player in the league in 2021, having worked as an undrafted free agent below the minimum NFL salary cap. Damn. What's the average for the Major League Baseball? What's their average salary?
It's in the middle to high. It's like 7 or 8 million, and I'm going by
Okay.
several years ago. Their minor league deal, or the Major League Baseball minimum, I believe, is now just short of 800,000. I thought it was like 700 and some, but if I'm not mistaken, it's escalating as well.
Only because I came across this. So the average NBA salary on the average is $8.5 million. And I believe the minimum salary is now 1.8 or 2.3 million.
Oh, okay.
Check that.
In the big hoopla or brouhaha that's going on in European Federation Cup, apparently Rubiales has admitted that he will resign. As you know, on August 24th, the disciplinary committee met, and I think they made the announcement. Now, this happens to be that during the championship event, Rubiales basically kissed a female player, and he says it was consensual and it was, it was allowed. And the players, no, it was unsolicited and it definitely was not allowed. Jenny Hermoso was surprised. Folks, in Europe, in many places, and even in the Latin world, and I don't know, Big Dog can comment on that, they're greeted with a kiss. In the Latin world, when you meet up with family, some people actually kiss on the lips, whether they be cousins, uncles, whatever. And in Europe, there's a kiss on both sides, the cheeks. In the Persian world, it's the same way. And I'm generalizing, but that's it. This guy in the championship celebration just smacked her on the lips. It was quick, it was whatever, but it looks like it is breaking that as of yesterday, he is going to resign because shake hands. Yeah. Look, in Europe, you do traditionally meet and you greet each other with a peck on the cheek. Not all of Europe, obviously. In other places, they do other stuff, but that's neither here nor there. And other shake hands. So, yeah. At first, several days ago, he says, "I will not resign." The Spanish soccer chief and was defined over the World Cup kiss. I'm gonna see if I can find some video, but not on the lips. Yeah, probably was caught up in the emotion. And dude, hey, dude, it is what it is. I myself, there are people in my significant other's family that they do it regularly, and I never did. I didn't want to create an awkward situation. That's not my thing. I think in my family,
Well, you
there were
don't
hugs.
like being touched anyways.
I don't know
Period.
what you're talking about, but that's okay.
Uh,
But Sheldon, no, 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 no. There was something else before you joined the program. There was an episode that Sheldon did like 4 things, and I'm like, I was nodding with him. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then on the fourth one, I was like, holy shit, yeah, I do that as well. So I talked about it. And folks, when I began the program this morning, I deliberately began with both intros, so it ran about 2 minutes. I want to know if you can tell the difference in the intros. They run about 54 seconds each, and I believe I played the gothic one, the first one, and then the second one was the traditional one that I play for Sports Talk with the Guys. The gothic one is for the professionals. There's subtle stuff, and Jag was able to get that for us and do that intro. And I want to thank him for that and remind everyone. So let us know which one you like. drop a comment, and it's in the first 2 minutes of the program. And each one runs for about 54 seconds or so. So apparently, as of yesterday, ESPN reported that Rubio would quit over unsolicited kiss of Hermoso. The Spanish team. Oh, I think there was an image right there. Yeah, cross the line. I agree, Jay. Look, I know that you work at it and things are tight with the team, but I'm going to see if I get the video on that right now. As you know, Spain beat England in the Women's World Cup. I don't think they did show the kiss. So there's just a tiny image near the end. And I think just out of respect, they're just not showing it. But yeah, it was consensual and it was allowed. And the player says no, no, no. So he is now resigned.
Your voice went away. Oh, now it's back.
Okay. All right.
And
Well, folks, we are near the. Go ahead.
Since you mentioned Rubio, I remember that we hadn't talked about it at all, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but in the NBA, Ricky Rubio is not going to be playing at least the first part of this coming season, maybe the entire season, as he said he is stepping away from basketball to work on his mental health. This was the first time I had heard about this when I read it a couple of weeks ago. And I remember I wanted to talk about it, but for whatever reason we didn't, or maybe that was the week I didn't come on. But yeah, so Ricky Rubio will not be playing this new season. He plays for Cleveland right now. He has bounced around, but he has had a journeyman type career. He's been around since 2009. So he's put in a good NBA career and has had a lot of flashes, but it just, for whatever reason, hasn't worked out that he became a premier point guard. But he is a very good backup, smart NBA player. But evidently, other things are happening, I guess, maybe outside of basketball, or maybe the pressures of basketball are too much for him, and he will be stepping away for the foreseeable future.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So what do you have planned for this weekend, Scorekeeper?
Absolutely nothing. I'm in recovery mode. I'm hurting, man. I'm just physically hurting.
Extracurricular activities?
No.
Medical appointments?
Not this weekend.
Well, I mean, recovering from those.
It just, dude, it hurts all the time now, and it's just.
How's your PT going for your foot?
Well, down to once a week right now, and I'm not using my cane at the time for the time being, and I haven't been using it for probably a month and a half now, but it still hurts. It's not recovering. So. Oh, so this is from Spain. It looks like I'm not going to be able to see some of this imagery here. Okay. Well,
Why?
I don't get to be a perv right now watching the imagery of the forced kiss. He's gone. He quit. Took advantage. Caught up in the moment. But congratulations to the Spanish team because they won. They beat England 1-0. And Sweden took third place by taking it to Australia 2-0. So Australia finished in 4th place, England in 2nd, and Spain obviously took the cup. Congratulations to them. The United States was eliminated in the round of 16 by Sweden, and Sweden eventually took it to Japan 2-1, and then in the 3rd place finish, they beat Australia. So Spain was a powerful team in the round of 16. If only, Elizabeth. If only. I'm gonna see about that. It's getting warm. I got my electric bill. My eyes popped out. Like, wow. My jaw just dropped, among other things. The dog's still barking.
I don't hear him.
Good for you.
Trying to find the
So
schedule.
for that whole thing, I didn't realize Spenny's Jenny Hermoso says she was a victim of assault. Wow. So the entire national team refused to play. That's crazy. I would have said just, I'm sorry, I got caught up in the moment. And that was it. But when he said it was consensual and it was allowed, oof. Because the video that I saw, it just did not look good. Yeah. But all right. Anything else you want to go over, Big Dog?
Yes, I'm trying to find how El Segundo is doing in the Little League World Series.
Okay.
The hometown boys.
While you do that, the Las Vegas Raiders, as you know, as Richard said earlier, by Tuesday they have to get down to 53 players. Well, it was revealed about a day ago that Las Vegas Raiders are nearing the cutdown day and they're making the moves. And Brandon Parker was already done for the season after suffering an injury, and his playing, however, Parker's chances of playing this year may have increased. But the Raiders announced, 2 days ago, that they were waiving the veteran offensive tackle, which means he'll be able to hit free agency if he clears waivers. The specific of Parker's injury were never real, so it's possible that it's only serious enough to cut him out for a few weeks. That's crazy. No, Jimmy G. I don't think anything's wrong with him. No, this is the offensive tackle. He's the longest tenured Raider.
So El Segundo is in the Little League World Series. They're going to be facing the team that it has only lost to in the tournament. The team from Needleville defeated Needleville, Texas, defeated El Segundo 3-1 on Monday, forcing El Segundo to win 3 consecutive elimination games over 3 days to make it to the U.S. final. The game will be today at 12:30. Today's August 20.
Yeah, I don't
What's
think I'm
today's date?
watching that. Today is the 26th, August.
Okay, so this was written yesterday. So they will be playing Texas in the USA Championship game at 12:30 in Williamsport, Pennsylvania today. And it will be broadcast on ABC.
Okay. Folks, I did talk about this, and I want to put a link in the chat room. The guy has good commentary on lots of stuff, not only the A's, but you'll find him there. His name is Brody Brazil. I'm jealous. I'm going to call him a young kid, but he has enlightened commentary. And I put the link in the chat room. You can see it right there. You can find him on YouTube at Brody Brazil. He's a no-kill guy, and he's very perceptive. It's good stuff. I like hearing him in all of his podcasts because he doesn't only talk baseball; he talks other stuff as well. But he has been following the story with Oakland very well, and he's really doing a great job. And he's already up to 24.4 thousand subscribers. He's been growing in the last 3 months, big time. Good for him. He's really good, in my humble opinion. I recommend you check out 1 or 2 of his videos, and then you'll know for yourself.
Delivered.
I don't know if you guys also heard the continuing saga of the player that was in the movie Blindside. Apparently, we've been talking about the last few weeks that Oher, who was adopted, but apparently was not adopted ever. And that came in the story, which we talked about. But he is suing. The aftershock of Michael Oher's lawsuit involving the film that told his story are rumbling once again. And this is in the last few days, but it has been going on for 2 weeks. As you know, Sandra Bullock was in the movie, The Blind Side, but now the producers are responding because Oher complains he did not receive money from the movie, and his surrogate parents, because I guess he wasn't adopted, you can't say his adoptive parents, they say, we shared with him equally the earnings from the movie. And he's claiming that no, that he is owed that and much more. But Elcon Entertainment, which produced the 2009 film The Blind Side, has released a statement about the claims of the Baltimore Ravens offensive lineman. A first-round pick of the Ravens in 2009, Oher gained a good amount of international fame for the film, which depicts his alleged adoption to the wealthy Tui family. But Oher, who's been critical of his depiction of the film in the past, has filed a lawsuit against the Tuis, with one of his claims being that the family made millions off the film while he himself saw nothing. Quote, we feel it is important for us to respond to some recent media reports, which include many mischaracterizations and uninformed opinions. The Elcon statement, penned by co-CEOs Broderick Johnson and Andrei Kosov, reads, quote, the impetus for these stories has been a lawsuit by Michael Oher, which seems to have given critics and journalists alike a justification to unfairly pick apart the movie 14 years later, some going so far as to call it fake or a lie. Now, I don't recall what was on the movie, but I believe it did say based on a true story. What the hell does based on a true story mean, Big Dog?
Means Hollywood will take the facts and do with it what they want.
Yeah. Claims from Elcon will nonetheless come under scrutiny. Elcon was financed by FedEx founder Frederick Smith, a neighbor of the Tuis, whose son Cannon, a former Memphis University football player and current stuntman, is married to Collins Tui, the Tui family's oldest child. Nonetheless, Johnson and Kosov stood by their decision to make The Blind Side, calling it a story that featured the better angels of human nature. Quote, we saw it in the Tui's wonderful acts of kindness towards Michael Oher. However, more importantly, we saw it in the extraordinary courage that Michael Oher demonstrated in accepting the Tui's generosity, not as a handout or as a savior's, but as a way through which he could improve his own life. Michael's academic accomplishments and and athletic achievements demonstrate this. He's raising his own children now, who shall know a life of possibility, the likes of which Michael Oher never knew as a child, and is the ultimate testament to Michael's own strength and courage. So, wow. The 14th anniversary will be this November. That's crazy. I didn't think it was that old. I knew it had a little bit of time. I didn't think it was 14 years. Wow.
So they're not really saying anything. They're not talking about whether he got paid or not. I mean, what exactly was this article for, other than to say, yeah, we made the film, we believed in it? I mean, it's a pretty nothing article.
The producers are responding and saying that they're standing by, and they talked about him, gave him play and stuff. Last week, we did, if I'm not mistaken, we did talk about this a little bit, and he has contended that what you see in the movie is not everything that happened, and he's very negative about the movie. So
he's been negative about it since the beginning, because I'm not sure if you're familiar, if you knew this or not, Scorekeeper, but The movie's based off of a book that was written, I guess, a couple of years earlier than that
I don't recall.
about the same thing. So it was a Blindside book that was made into a movie by the Tuohys. But
Oh yes, in 2006.
yeah, see, he has complained about it because he's depicted as not that smart, and I guess in real life, academically, he was a B+ student or something or other. So he never liked the fact that he was depicted as not as smart as he was. But of course, as we said, and as you said, it's Hollywood. They're going to play with the truth a little bit. The whole thing about him being not adopted but not adopted, when I read a couple of different articles, I understood the reason why he wasn't adopted, because you cannot adopt a person after the age of 18, which is, I guess, when this happened. He was already of adult age. He was over 18 years old. So at that point, you can't adopt a person. That's why they did the conservatorship. So that in its own, and of course, the blogosphere, the idiots that are out there, never, of course, looked into that. When did this supposedly happen? And what it was is he couldn't be adopted. I mean, legally, you can't adopt a person after the age of 18. So now the whole thing about being paid out and stuff, I have no idea.
They mentioned that, in fact, Alcon has paid approximately $767,000 to the talent agency that represents the Tuohy family and Michael Oher, and in parentheses, who presumably took commission before passing it through, close parenthesis.
Yeah.
We anticipate the Tuohy family and Michael Oher will receive additional profits as audiences continue to enjoy this true story in the years to come.
And the thing too that gets me is, why did it take him 14 years to come forward and say, hey, I never got my money? Now that he's no longer an NFL player, all of a sudden now he says, oh, there's money missing? 14 years later, you didn't know? Come on. When the movie came out and all this money's supposed to be coming in, he's according to him, he says he was caught up in his NFL career not to notice that no money was coming into him. To me, that's just a big if. He's making all these appearances and such, and I'm pretty sure every time you appear on like the Ellen Show or on this show, the Tonight Show, you get paid to do that. You don't come on for free. They pay you to be on there. So I just find it hard to believe that it took him 14 years to realize that he's missing out on, millions of dollars that he says he just didn't notice because he was too busy with his NFL career. But that's just a pessimist in me, I guess.
It's okay. That's fine, big dog. I got to come up with that one. I'm there's no gas left, folks, and I apologize. And I'm thrilled that we have everyone staying with us, and I'm eternally grateful. But
I mean, what are your feelings?
Running out.
What are your feelings on it? I mean,
I enjoyed the movie. I love Sandra Bullock.
Oh, that's another thing. The idiot blogosphere was demanding that Sandra Bullock be stripped of her Oscar because of what the Tuohys did to, supposedly did to Michael Oher.
Oh my God!
And I'm just like,
the Oscar for that one, huh?
Yeah, she won Best Actress, and I'm like, what does her acting career, acting in a movie, have to do with someone else's life? She was an actress in a movie. That's it.
The blogosphere, when they have nothing to argue, they're going to make stuff up to see. Look, folks, what Twitter or X and all these other places, it's just to see the most noise that you can make. It's bragging. It's like, hey, see how many tweets I got? How many tweets? That's what it is. That's all it is. And they're trying to create something. It's stupid. I had not heard that.
Yeah, I thought that was a joke. Yeah, but I mean, other than that Sandra Bullock situation, which is not a situation at all. But I mean, this story in itself between the Orrs and the Tuohys, what do you feel, or what's your take on it?
Well, I hadn't given it a lot of thought, but I was listening to your comments, and I would hasten to ask as well, why did it take so long, dude?
Hmm.
But
That
you're out
was
of
the
the
one
game
big thing
now.
that got me. Yeah, that was the one big thing that I mean, I can understand maybe a year or two because maybe you're trying to figure it out. My lawyer's talking to your lawyer, you're talking to them, blah blah blah, or whatever. But 14 years later, come on. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's just he believes he's owed millions, and he was deprived of the profits. And well, I'm sure they're going to open up the books and see
oh
how much.
yeah, definitely.
Uh, I wonder if he's received any of those checks after the fact. So that'll have to come into play. We'll see. Just a shame what's going on. It was a good movie, and I'm sorry that it doesn't match what he believes he went through. It's a shame.
Yeah.
The story behind it is really a good thing, but if his life was that miserable, I'm sorry that he had to endure all of that stuff.
And I'm
That
trying to
he was
remember.
deprived all those monies.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember now if I remember. There was an article or two that I read that I guess now, maybe over the last year or so, that the Tuohys and Michael Orr no longer speak to each other. So
I don't
whether or
think
not
I've
that's
read
true, I
that,
don't know.
but I could see that. I could. When you're
Yeah,
fighting over that stuff, it's a shame. It's always about money.
yep.
Just a shame.
And of course, the idiots out there are trying to make it a black and white thing. Oh, well, they took advantage of him because he was black and he didn't know any better. And, shame on these rich white people, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not. Appreciate that, Elizabeth, for that comment. I don't know, man. That's a bummer. All right. Well, look, I know you have to get going at 9:30. I'm not going to make it there. Is there anything else, Big Dog, that you want to go over?
No, I'm just trying to see how
I'm
long,
sorry, folks.
when his career ended. Hmm.
Not too
Last
long
played
ago.
in 2016, so it's been a
Oh, it was
while.
a while.
So it's
Yeah,
been
it
8
has been.
years. He played for the Ravens from 2009 to 2013. In 2014, he played with the Titans, and then he played with the Panthers for 2 years, from 2015 to 2016. And of course, he is a Super Bowl champion. He made the rookie team. He won the blocking trophy, a unanimous All-American, two-time first team All SEC, and second team All SEC. He played 110 games and started every single one in his NFL career.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
So he had a career. And actually that's about the 9 to 16, 7 year career. That's pretty good actually for a linebacker. Usually those guys are about, what did we say, 2.5 to 3 years now? Is
I
the
think that's what
average?
it was when we talked about
Yeah.
that before. Okay, I finally found him. All right.
What'd you find?
I've been ending the programs on a few funny reels from time to time, and I wanna some of them I post, and this one was really funny, folks. I'm gonna go to this one right now, and this was on Young Sheldon. It was a really funny moment when Missy Cooper started to play ball. This one was really funny, and I'm gonna get to it.
Your voice is gone.
I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind. You're back.
Yeah. It's going to start up in just a moment. Sorry, folks. I apologize for the.
Cooper, you stop beating up that boy! Punch him in the nuts!
Sorry. There we go. Typical chin music.
Oh! Whoa!
What the
Son
hell?
of a bitch! Hey! Hold it. We talked about this.
I've been told when a boy gets a girl, she takes it to
Cooper!
her.
Oh, well, here we go.
Eat dirt! Eat it! Hit his ass! Does it taste good? Huh?
Yeah, listen to your Mima. Kick his ass.
You cry? Huh? Do it! Cry! Do something! Break it up!
Hang on, she's winning.
Cooper, you stop beating up that boy! Punch him in the nuts!
I love that little scene, man. I've loved it.
That was funny.
Now, what happened for this one was she's playing ball, and apparently coach was like, "Hey, we're gonna have a girl playing," and he met with the other coaches. So this kid comes up, or she comes up, and the kid throws up and in, and they're like, "Well, what the hell? Come on, man, don't be a dick." And then you see the second pitch, which is the one where he's not only does he go in, he goes for her head. And Missy Cooper just dumping the bat and just taking him out. It is so funny. I love that one. It is really good stuff. So I know people are going to get offended by this one, but I really like this one. And folks, you know our rating. You've been warned. Fuck it.
Fuck around, I fuck around. Yeah, fuck around, round, I fuck around. I fuck around, round, I fuck around. Fuck around, round, I fuck around. Fuck around, round, I fuck around. Getting fucked, fucking up and down this fucking street. I gotta find a fucking place where the fuckheads meet. Those fuckers and me are getting fucking known. Yeah, the fuckheads know, so fucking leave us alone.
Had you seen that one yet, Big Dog?
Yep.
Yeah.
You posted it.
All right. There it is. 5-time Booker T. Yep. All right. Good stuff. I was going to end it on that, folks. Anything else there, Big Dog?
Nope.
Take us away, please. And I will actually, right before that.
Oh, actually, one last thing. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. No, go.
For the wrestling fans out there, tomorrow is AEW's All In from Wembley Stadium. They have set the new attendance record for Wembley Stadium, Wembley Stadium, for Wembley Stadium, beating out WWE from 20-something years ago. They have sold over 84,000 tickets. It is AEW's biggest event ever in their young 4-year existence. But
Wow.
83,000 people, and they're still selling tickets. And it's going to be one hell of an event. Starts at 9 o'clock Pacific time, because it'll be 5 o'clock in England. And I believe Anime Girl already has her ringside tickets.
Ooh, good stuff. And speaking of Anime Girl, thank you. Oh, no, she did not join us today. But hi, Janet. I hope you're doing well. Anime Girl's mom. Want to give a shout out to Elizabeth, Jay, Tanya, as well as Gridiron Girl. And I want to give a shout out to Richard, of course, to Coffee. And I believe that's everyone that commented today. So I want to thank everyone, of course. Richard joining us, the Big Dog. I'm the Scorekeeper. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tolerating me today. And thank you for being with us. And we look forward to doing some other stuff. So next Saturday will be business as usual. And then on the 6th, we will have the professionals as well. So, all right, folks. We'll see you guys on the other side. Peace. Big Dog, take us away, please.
All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. If you're going to drink, call an Uber, call a Lyft, call a friend, call somebody. Just don't get behind the wheel. Be safe, everyone. Enjoy your sports. See ya.
And enjoy the birthday party with Mason today.
I will.
That'll be good.